Bad Religion.
Bad Religion.
One of my favorite punk bands. The lead singer is a scientist. I talked about his book on the show once.
Yeah, I remember
the man
that.
who's singing that song teaches evolutionary biology at UCLA.
Really?
My headphones are cutting in and out. It's driving me nuts.
That's okay. You don't need them.
Yeah, you don't need them. We're all here together, guys.
Welcome. Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. You can stream us live at WGNU920am.com. You can follow along on the Facebook live stream. You can also go to Mycelial Media on YouTube. You can follow a stream there if you want.
We're everywhere.
Everywhere.
We're everywhere.
We are indeed.
Just like the Christmas spirit.
What does Christmas mean to you, Steve?
Well, I was about 5 years old. Okay. And I was petrified of seeing Santa. And I learned that Santa wasn't really real. Or, some people say that.
You're just going to go ahead and just throw that out.
I said some people say that. It's not real. He is real. That's not real. Them saying that.
Very meta.
What does Terrence McKenna have to say about Santa? Anything?
It's like Jesus. He is Jesus. So I'm about 5 years old. We're at Famous Bar. Remember the Famous Bar, South County? It was kind of shaped like a big sombrero in there. They used to put a big Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Like the department store part.
Yeah.
Like I loved it. We loved it. So I'm in line there with my sister. My sister tormented me. She loved it. She's the one who told, who showed me the Pierce the Veil way too young. I was like, what's happening? It's a story for another time. So we're in line for Santa, big long line, kind of similar to the Christmas Story thing, where they're all waiting and there's elves and stuff. And I am petrified. I'm like, I don't want to, but I know this is the only way I'm going to get what I want. And what's the big gift that year? I'm 5, Nintendo. Okay. But there was also
the old school NES
first
8-bit.
One.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The first one, it was a big deal. And I was like, I kept saying to my sister, I must have asked her 30 times. I was like, do I want an Atari or a Nintendo? Do I want an Atari or a Nintendo? Because my cousins had an Atari and it was pretty cool.
Fun. Yeah, super
but
fun.
I was like, this Nintendo is going to blow it out of the water. Like Pong. Like, you see what they got going on?
2 buttons?
Yeah.
And a D-pad?
It's going to get cray. Okay.
Right,
and it comes with a gun. The first one was Duck Hunt.
Like, it's full color?
Did you put the gun straight on the screen for Duck Hunt? Like,
who didn't?
Touch the screen with the gun?
When I got mad.
Yeah.
And I
just wanted to shoot the dog once.
Yeah.
That's amazing technology when you think about it for back then. That the
Absolutely.
gun
Yes.
actually shot onto the screen. Wow, blowing my mind. All right, so I'm like, Jamie, what do I want? And she was good. She was like, you want a Nintendo, you moron. Like, please stop asking me. So I get up on Santa's lap, and it's kind of like confession where you're like, I just want, peace in the world. Or I want.
He's like, cut the crap, kid. What do you want?
And I'm like, I need an Atari. And I get off. I'm like, whoo, got over. And I realize I'm off the lap. I'm walking out of line. My mom's like, oh, you told him and stuff. And I realize, dude, I just told Santa an Atari. So I sprint back through the people,
like Ralphie.
Yes, and I'm like, I want a Nintendo instead. And he's like, who are you? What? Like, what?
Okay, done.
Like, yeah. And I was like,
dude, I got 30 minutes left on this shift.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. And the feeling, I still remember the feeling of terror, being like, I'm not gonna get it. To when I told him, I was like, yes. And I remember when I got that. And then Nintendo, we just had a poll. What was the best Nintendo game?
Man, it's a tough choice.
So many people were like, oh, it brings back my childhood. Because that was a big deal. Like, my aunts would play the Nintendo. My aunt and mom, they would play Zelda till all the morning, the early time of the morning. My dad played me in ice hockey and Blades of Steel.
Oh, the best.
And I love that Blades of Steel was like Kansas City Red team.
Well, so was Baseball Stars.
Yeah. They couldn't use
Baseball Stars was awesome because you could actually make your own team,
create players.
Dude,
and stuff. That was way ahead of
our buddy Joe Easy. We had a little team, Joey's Toe Jams. We had them. Man, we had that team, that franchise. It carried on for years. Man, we had some real boppers in that lineup. There was no safe spot. I'm 1 through 8. There was no safe spot. And I'll tell you what, that pitcher, he laid down a bun on you too. He wasn't afraid.
And that staff you guys had, I'm sure, outrageous.
Fireballers. Yeah, fireballers.
RBI baseball was real.
I loved RBI baseball. I once beat my cousin 83-0.
Jesus Lord.
Yeah, she was not good.
She
was not good. And I danced all over every time.
I even tried to be cute about it.
No,
blew the doors off.
I did. Yeah, like we could be having fun, but you're not good at this.
And if she would have beat you or someone would have beat you,
that controller would have went through the TV.
Yeah. I remember, like 3 years old, blind in one eye. I destroyed you.
And that was
in your face.
I remember we had
got nothing.
I didn't.
She's like,
have
"Am I playing
What's
the
that?
game?
What's that? Is that gone? Is that gone?
Am I playing?
It's still infield, but you're not gonna get it. Way too slow.
And
I
think about
can't
how-
see the screen, cousin Craig."
I think about how
So close.
ungrateful I was as a kid, right? Because you were talking about, did you want Atari or Nintendo?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And everybody had a Nintendo, and so
Yeah.
in order to kind of be a part of that that conversation, you want to know what the games are, you know. And I remember I got an 8-bit Sega. I don't know if you remember the
Dude,
8-bit Sega, but
I
it
was
was
gonna
before
ask
this.
you.
It
The
was
one
before the
before?
Genesis. It was before Genesis. It was an 8-bit Sega. It was
You
comparable.
still have the cartridge and
Yep, had a cartridge, and like it was comparable to the Nintendo, but all the games were different, and it definitely didn't have as big of a scope. And now looking back on it, I'm like, oh man, that was an awesome system. It was probably even better than Nintendo, but it didn't have near the choices of games. Right?
Really?
But then, you know, then all my friends had the next progression was the Sega Genesis.
16-bit? Wasn't that 16-bit?
Yeah,
Or
that was
32?
16-bit. Sega CD was
Okay.
32, I think. But anyway, so it was like so everybody's got
Nintendo.
a Genesis now, and I'm like, well, my mom and dad got me the Sega when everybody had the Nintendo, so certainly they'll know that Sega's the play here, right?
Yeah.
It's the play.
Yeah.
Super NES,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
how am I not communicating this
Yeah.
effectively to you guys?
Yep.
But
That was cool.
NES
though.
was awesome. Super
Yeah.
NES
Dude,
was
parents were
great.
just like, it's a square
Yeah,
with
it's
controllers.
Yeah.
you're
I don't
playing
get it.
something
Yeah,
on a
it's got
TV,
games.
kid. Like,
They're like, I don't understand.
and I look back
He
on
can
how
get a job and
ridiculous
buy
that
his
was.
own if he doesn't like the one I bought for him.
But what made me think of that was I had FIFA 94, and that was my jam on Super NES.
Sure.
I was a steed at that game,
Oh,
and my
yeah.
dad, I showed him no mercy ever. And I remember one time he was on one. He caught a good run. He caught a good run, and man, like he was beating me like 2-0, and I'm like, at first I'm like, it's
Yeah,
no
it's
big deal. I'm
cute.
gonna
It's
bury
cute.
6 on you here in the second half. It's all good. And then like I can't get through. I think I was even handicapped, and I was like Cameroon, and he was
Yeah.
like Germany or something,
Yeah.
you know. And so I'm like,
Don't sleep on the Cameroonians.
no, they were fast.
Don't
The
sleep on them.
Cameroonians
Yeah.
were fast,
They'll get
and like
you.
that was my jam, man.
Yeah.
And he beat me, and I remember like this is one of those things I feel bad about as a kid, and I like threw the controller, which was totally not like me. I just chucked this controller across, and he's like, "Hey, man, like it's not how you lose."
And
Like,
he's just eating
and at
it
the
up.
same time, he's like, "I put it on." That
Yeah. He'd been up all night practicing and being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get him."
That's a great Christmas story. Was that so when Santa came?
Yeah.
Did you get an Atari?
I got a Nintendo.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
it
good
was a
deal.
great
It's a good
deal.
thing you
Good thing
ran
you-
back.
yeah.
It was a great
That
deal.
Santa
Good
was
thing
just
you ran
waiting
back.
for a shift in so he could get drunk at the Applebee's.
Yeah,
Didn't
he's
Bad
a-
Santa
I
put
know.
that into perspective. So
Did you guys like Bad Santa? I'm not that huge
Oh, I
of a
like
fan.
it. I
See,
watched it last night.
I
I'm a
gotta
fan.
rewatch it.
I
gotta
watched
rewatch it.
myself.
I thought it was pretty
turn that
funny.
down just a little bit. I watch myself. Sometimes I cringe laugh through it because I think it's really funny, but it's not like one of those that you watch. You can't watch it with the family. You know,
You can't.
maybe with your significant other, but you don't want to watch that one with the kids for a few years. Bad Santa 2, kind of the same thing. It was a lot of the same joke. But what about you, Seth? What's a great Christmas memory of yours?
Oh man, you're gonna come to me now?
Well, yeah,
I don't
What else am I
have
gonna
one
do?
really. I mean, it was Christmas. I don't have. I can't.
No,
think of-
yeah. No,
I don't
absolutely.
have anything where I ran and screamed at Santa because I told him the wrong gift. I usually just cried when I was on his lap and didn't
Did you?
ask for anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I asked to leave.
were you guys like, yeah, I can't wait to see Santa? Because I always remember being like, I do like it was like confession for me. I knew I had to do it, but I was like, this is a weird
It's
situation.
hard.
And when Oliver was the same way, he's like, I don't know if I want to sit on this dude's lap. I'm like, you think I'm gonna force you to sit on some random dude's lap? Like, I'm
Landon
not.
always did okay with Santa, but the Easter Bunny was just not his. Like he's like, there's
Easter
something
Bunny's
not
not
natural.
free, yeah.
Mascots like the
He looks like a furry.
Springfield
They probably don't
Cardinals-
even have him anymore because of that.
Yeah, the Springfield Cardinals have like a dog that's like Fetch, you know, he's like the second mascot to Louis, their bird, you know, and like Landon would always just like look at this
Just glare
giant
at him.
6 foot tall dog. Like this isn't,
No
you're
way.
not supposed to be walking. You're not bipedal for one. And for two, you're 7 foot tall and you're a basset hound. What's going on here? Like I could see Landon like processing. He did not, he always shied away from
lifeless eyes and expression kind
And
of
you don't talk? Oh, that's great.
yeah,
That's great.
It's not frightening at all.
Dude, I finally got one for you.
Okay.
I do remember one time my dad surprised us with a little pooch. You know, I was
Ooh.
5, maybe 6 years old, maybe.
Yeah. What kind of pooch was it?
He was
mutt?
a little cocker spaniel,
Oh, yeah?
mixed with a little what was it? I forgot, but it should
bulldog,
A Shih Tzu?
cocker spaniel, and a Shih Tzu.
sort of kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an actual like. There's a name.
I mean, can we put those together? Can I put those together, or is that an FCC violation?
I'm pretty sure where
Yeah.
you're going to put it together, it's an FCC violation.
It's fine.
A
There's
cockatoo.
other syllables in there, so we're
Syllables.
fine. But yeah, we named him Ewok because he looked just like the little Ewoks from the Star Wars. And this dude would not die. I think I was 21.
How long did
I
you
might
try?
have been.
How
I
long
think
were
it
you
was in
trying?
basic training. We were
I
just like,
drowned
we didn't.
him.
We fed him
I
chocolate.
buried him.
I don't even know how much chocolate he ate. We gave him like the cheapest dollar store dog food. We didn't take him on walks or anything. He's the happiest little dude. Just
You're going to cruel.
and then he'd just walk around.
Hey, Craig,
My dog that's alive now. They knew each other. They met. And
I can't remember how much chocolate we fed him. I was like, what?
I was watching Next
His
Friday
last-
the other day, and he feeds the dog a pot brownie, and I'm like, I mean,
Can't do
feed the
that.
dog pot, but you can't give him the
Yeah.
brownie.
Yeah,
What are you,
exactly. Are you
chocolate?
crazy?
What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Bad for you.
have some more sausage and cheese. It's
Ooh, I
Christmas.
like
it's
so
not
good.
Christmas without a sausage and cheese.
I
plate.
do like
do
a little
like
sausage and cheese.
Thank
I've been
you.
sorry. I ate
Thank you
most
for
of
that.
that.
Thank
No,
you.
please.
Hey,
Enjoy yourself.
thank
I'm just
you.
gonna
This
chew
is-
into this microphone.
This is good.
There you go.
This is really good sausage
Very
and
good.
cheese.
I think about, I have little Christmas memories that, my first memory was sitting on my dad's shoulders down at the brewery when they used to light up the big tree down at the brewery. And I remember hundreds upon hundreds of St. Louisans in their little stocking caps with the balls on top and the scarves and singing Christmas carols, which, by the way, if anybody's just wanted to do a little impromptu caroling this weekend,
We're game.
I think we're game. If you just want to get together, we'll go up and down the Grove and we'll sing outside of these
Yeah.
businesses.
Want to do it?
All right, yeah.
I think
Why
it
not?
would be fantastic. I think it'd
We
be a
didn't
really
have to
fun time.
twist Seth's arm. Yeah.
Not at all.
You'll
Yeah.
be like texting me like, "Hey, Caroline." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a thing."
I'm already caroling.
I'll just be like, "A thing is
Yeah, just text
I
back
got that."
thing.
Yeah, thing? Question mark.
So
Are you buying Christmas recital for my aunt? My uncle's hamsters in town.
So what was
Yeah.
your favorite gift you've ever gotten? Not to make
Well,
it about the
I
material.
was
but
going
what was your
to
favorite
ask-
gift about?
Dude, it can be as materialistic as possible. I don't really get into it anymore. I mean, it depends. I mean, what vibe do you want to give the listeners?
Well, hey, listen,
It's a great time of
I
year.
love the spirit of Christmas. I truly do.
Yeah,
The other
yeah, I
day I
do.
was driving home and I was like, you know what I haven't done yet this year? I haven't just listened to some Christmas music.
Mhm.
I'm podcasting or whatever. Or
Yep.
everybody's got music on demand now.
He's
And
listening.
that's
to Hoosier
actually nice.
Sophisticate.
That's actually nice because now when you listen to Christmas music, it's not the same thing that's getting played on 102.5 or whatever. Shout out to our competitors.
all like
But you can go
remakes.
and you go on Apple, go on Spotify and go find your favorite Christmas songs, make you a little list. It's really, for me, it helps put me in the spirit. I think people are generally kinder. And I think the further away they get from kindness, the closer they're getting to materialism, the crazy Black Friday shopping and everything. Full disclosure, I haven't even got probably half of my shopping done. It's just not, I don't put that much
Yeah.
thought into it because I am always looking forward to the food and the family and the football, the college football going on, the bowls and everything.
Yeah,
Like it's
man.
great to lay around the boozy eggnog. Like let's have some fun. I don't care if anybody ever gets me anything ever again. I got stuff I haven't seen that's just packed up in my basement for years, and I'm like, why do I have all this stuff I haven't even looked at? And
It's
would I miss
tough.
it if I just threw it away?
No, you wouldn't. It's tough because I mean, I read a meme. The age of
Why
memes.
did you say meme like that?
The age
on
of
a meme.
memes, like but it was we go into debt to show to prove people we love them or whatever, and it's like I know not people are going like into crazy debt, but you're spending an exorbitant amount of money on just like your family and stuff, which you think that's great, but it loses its Christmas vibe, its Christmas spirit, the real meaning of it when you're just like, okay, we got to get a $10 gift for this person. Okay, let me go to TJ Maxx and let me go to the $10 gift thing. And, I feel like it cheapens it, and everyone's so busy around the time too. It's not like we can sit around and be like, I'm fashioned you this necklace, Craig, that took me 4 weeks. I don't do that stuff, and I always kind of get guilty around the holidays that I got you something. And it's different when you have kids too. Like we got to buy the nieces and nephews stuff. They got to buy our kids stuff. But the $10 to $20 gifts for kids at this point, it ends up just going to the land of the lost in my
man.
basement. And
Yeah,
they just
I'm
have
gonna
toys
step on
that
it
they
at
don't
some
even
point.
know. They don't even know they have these toys in their basement. There's just a whole collection of them.
Wrap
And
them
we'll
up
go-
and give them back next
Well, that's
year.
what we do. We that's not bad play. I
That's what
did.
we do, man.
I
Way
did-
ahead of you.
Have you ever found a gift that you were supposed to wrap up. We did that a few times, but you try to balance the that love, and it's about the spending the time. And then if you do get something pretty cool for somebody, it's really awesome to see it.
Sure.
I'm kind of weird about getting gifts. Like I almost feel guilty if someone does get me something really good. I'm like, oh God, why did you do that for me? Like, oh no,
I got you nothing.
Yeah, well, even if I did get him something, I'm like, you care more than me. Like, let's just agree to no one cares. That way we're all on the same playing field. No one cares. We're just doing our thing. Because that's what, when you're driving home late at night and kind of you get a moment to reflect and, one of your favorite Christmas songs comes on, it's just a bevy of emotions that will just like happy, sad, nostalgia, the future, like
all of your family being together. Because that landscape changes too, right? As you get older and people pass away, the family gatherings are different. Certain sects of the family aren't necessarily aren't necessarily coming, to the different, like my dad's one of 15 kids. So like when grandma and grandpa died, like that wasn't the central hub 15? For our holidays anymore.
Good night.
Yeah, my mom was one of 15. My mom was one of 6.
14 boys and a girl.
yeah, all boys. No.
They were just walking out by like 8. It was like, hey, what's up, Mom?
But that was something like that family was so huge, and I used to look forward to it because I have about 100 first cousins on my dad's side.
Yeah, we know.
We had huge games.
That's our entire fan base.
They lived right across the street from Cronolette Park, so we had amazing, 11-on-11 football games and great games of basketball. And then as grandma and grandpa got older, got sicker, and then died off, like that wasn't the central hub where we all met. And then everybody kind of starts their own Christmas tradition. And as you get older and older, it just keeps segmenting more and more. Sure. So there's definitely a ton of nostalgia there, man. Like that was the one time that family was so big that, hey, at least one time a year, we were kind of all going to see each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that
really
was
cool.
And that was great because people were from all over the country. They were all spread about. And that's,
because everyone knows home. The Colors have done very well.
They're a well-traveled bunch.
Yeah. Americas.
We floundered a lot of opportunity.
Yes. You got a pet, you were saying, for Christmas. Yeah. Did you ever get a pet for Christmas?
I don't think I ever got a pet for Christmas. No.
We got a pet right around Christmas. I can't remember if it was on Christmas. I think it was like right after Christmas. And there was it was after Christmas. It was like 4 or 5 weeks after Christmas because she was a puppy. She was born on Christmas.
Okay.
And then we were just at Petco and stuff. And it was like, still cold, but we named her Holly. So she was always like our Christmas dog. Or
Santa's little helper.
It was great. She was a rat terrier, like mix. And all of our dogs when I was a kid, anytime you open the door, it's like, oh, put your foot. They'll get out. Oh, they'll get out.
You gotta keep
Oh, no, hold back. And I remember being a kid being like, just let these puppies go, baby.
Yeah, let them run.
They want to be free.
Let them run.
Think about it.
An owl comes by and
I'm like, they wouldn't have made it a second out there on the streets. What are they thinking? You want out of here?
Yeah.
Or you look at your dog before you go to school on a cold morning and you're like, oh, if I could just trade places with you for the next 2 hours.
Remember when you'd be on your way home from school and you're like, the dog's there. The new dog, and you're just like,
heck home. Yeah, man, heck yeah!
You walk on your mom beating it.
That was the best. That's a good Christmas story. No, that was the best time too. Even if you had a new gaming system, remember when you were at school, you'd play in the morning, and then you'd be like, I got to get home so I can play FIFA 94. You know what I mean, or NHL 94, and those games were just so good, man. Like those times. Man, I tell you what, there's not much, great. And not much better than that.
Kind of leads me to like, as much as I don't want to make it about materialism, is my ability to kind of let that materialism go. The fact that I experienced it, and a lot of that nostalgia tied up in that. So you definitely still want to give your kids that. There's nothing. I don't expect a gift from anybody. I really don't want a gift from anybody, but I want to see my kids open something that makes their day and doesn't break. And I'm really proud of my kids. We talk to them all the time, like, hey, do you want a thing or do you want an experience? And almost always in unison, they're like, let's go do something. Do
you want a thing or an experience?
Yeah.
My parents were like, here's the pennies catalog.
Pick something.
Stuff. That was the big deal.
Well, yeah, sure.
How do we do
East Bay.
I try to do it with my kids now, and it's like you get on Amazon or whatever and see like, what do you want
Make Santa to get you?
Yeah. But that is even a little bit crazy because if they get on my computer later, all of the, the side advertisements for anything, like
for sure.
You got to be super careful about that. Did Did our guest just
He
get
did.
here?
Yeah,
Oh,
he did.
wow.
That's our
And he's
guy.
looking
He is
good right
looking
now.
Very good.
Hey, you want to let everybody know what's going on for the rest of the show?
I think so. We're opening up with some Christmas thoughts. We're going to talk a little bit about the hemp bill after the break. We talked about it a little bit last week, and it's strange to me that being very involved, us being very involved with the cannabis movement here in Missouri, and obviously being pro-cannabis, it seems like something we should be cheering for with this hemp bill. We talked about it last week. They put a lot of stuff in there, and I'm not sure that the cannabis community, the people that have really rallied around and made it an acceptable thing to accept into our culture, right? Like, I'm not sure that they're coming out on top. Now, all of a sudden, people like Anheuser-Busch are getting in and they're going to see how they're going to infuse CBD into drinks and they're spending, I think GW Pharmaceuticals spent like $170 million.
GW,
so we're going to talk about that a little bit on the other side of the break. At 7, we're going to talk to our friend Mike Lindner, who just joined us in studio. He is, he's Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal is what he is.
God,
You want to flip flop that? Since he's here.
Yeah, we can do it here. We can talk about that. So
I don't flip flop on anything.
We'll talk to Mike at 6:30. We're going to talk about Results Fitness. About I think coming up this time of year, I'm sure that he'll be able to corroborate this point that all the gyms are kind of packed on January 1st. Everybody's going to start that new year and get their fitness on track, and then typically by February 1st, the gym's back to normal, and you're not waiting on a bench or a squat rack. And we'll talk about setting realistic fitness goals for ourselves. I think you and I we're gonna get after it. Hey, look, I had a big week. I had a big week with and Seth was part of it last weekend. I got engaged, and I'm not getting married.
He just slipped it in there. He just slipped it in.
Everybody.
I'm not getting married looking like this. So Mike's gonna help carve me out.
You're gross right now, dude. I can't even look at you.
Guys, we want to remind you that this entire presentation is brought to you by MomedCanco.com, the Missouri Medical Cannabis Company. If you enter HOSO at checkout, get 15% off everything site-wide. If you're planning on buying 3 bottles of any one item, if you enter code HOHOHO at checkout, you're going to get 2 bottles for free. That is our friend Blake Bell over at Missouri Medical Cannabis
2 bottles for free?
If you buy 3 of them.
What?
That's a heck of a deal. And I'll tell you what a great stocking stuffer.
Oh, God, yeah.
You want to talk? I mean, you got time.
You better get the CBD, too, because the hemp bill, that ties into all that.
That's the whole deal. We're going to talk about it a little bit. It's something I want to be excited about, but I don't know that we're coming out on top on this whole deal. So you guys want to go ahead and go to break now and then do it on the other side? You got anything else you want to add there?
You know what? I think we are, the kids are saying it.
I think we're up against it.
Oh, God.
Do you want me to read a few quotes before we go to break here?
Yeah, let's go to the line
we're
real
up
quick.
against it, but we can do some text.
All right. Mike Lindner says, see you soon, fellas. And
Hey, Mike.
He's here.
He's here. Tyler S says 83-0. GP does not approve.
I know.
Kohler.
I know.
K Mills says we thought our neighbors were rich because they were the first ones to get Pong.
Oh man, Pong was a great time.
Peter G says I thought my neighbors were rich because they were the first ones to get dollar manures. Dollar menorahs. No, $MENUAIRES. Does that mean anything to anyone?
If you're trying to spell menorah, it was correct. It was exactly spelled. But hey, shout out to our Jewish friends too. It was Hanukkah a couple weeks ago, and very happy Hanukkah to you.
They have them at the dollar store.
Missy B
How
says,
convenient for them.
Peter G says I slapped Steve's butt last night in Fenton.
A lot of people that you had a big night last night.
Big night last night. K Mill says I've known Steve so long. He had hair when I met him.
Oh, sounds like a backward.
Corey G says, was it the creepy uncle mustache that got you going? And he's replying to Peter G about the butt. Gotcha. And he said, Peter G said, I just imagined that hoodie was paired with cutoffs and a 4-inch drill bit.
Oh, very good callback, sir. Okay, well, that definitely leads us up
We're
against
up against it now.
We definitely are. Guys, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to our friend Mike Lindner about fitness. We've got all kinds of fitness jokes. It's going to be fitness. And
gosh, I wish we could say it. Hey, type it on the thing. Then.
This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
A little something different for the St. Louis radio world. Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin.
Michael Minkin from StopAbductions.com. com.
Because we believe that the aliens are actually invading and taking people with the purpose of taking control of our society. Aliens are mixing our DNA with their DNA to make a new race that is now integrating into our society.
Hoosier Sophisticate, Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU.
What y'all doing in here?
Get out of here, Stevie. We're taking CBD, and you don't want no part of this.
You're taking some of that CBD?
Yeah, of course we are. Can't you see it?
No, I can't.
Come on, Stevie. Join the party.
No, Stevie, you don't want this. Get out of here.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want no hangover. I can't get no hangover.
It doesn't give you a hangover.
Well, I don't. Will I get addicted to something?
It's not habit forming.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't want to OD on it.
You can't OD on it.
It's not going to make me want to have sex,
Oh,
is
it
it?
makes sex even better.
Sounds kind of expensive.
Oh, it's the cheapest drug there is. You don't want it, Stevie.
I think I kind of want it.
Okay, just this once. Come on in.
Guys, go to momedcanco.com and enter HOSO at the checkout and receive 15% off anything store-wide. Visit momedcanco.com.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter, and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk, and for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
Hey, it's your pal, Stephen George Elgin. Many of you saw me get my bum tattooed on live video with our friends at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. What? Obviously, many people trust my opinion, so I'm going to talk to you about my top 3 reasons why I regularly visit Parlor STL, and Seth is going to translate it for all you punk rock skater kids. First of all, the cocktail menu is better than any you will find anywhere in the city.
Say word, son. They mix it up tight if you want to get that sip on.
The Nug Shack serves up some of the best farm-fresh fried chicken you'll ever eat.
Cluckety cluck. They got that sicky fresh chicken for your face.
The place is packed full of old-school arcade games, plus pinball and even skee-ball.
They got games for days, son. Ask your mom about them.
That's Parlor, located at 4170 Manchester. Check them out at parlorstl.com. And speaking of tattoos, you got the itch to get inked? Visit Tower Classic Tattooing about 100 feet east of Parlor. View their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
I ain't got no job.
Listen, insurance is not something you want to gamble on.
Yeah, what my associate's trying to say is that James Carlton State Farm is really cool. You're not even going to believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along on the road with your family, and you're driving along, and patch of ice, can't quite stop, boom, you bump into the guy next to you. James Carlton's got somebody out there ready to take care of you 24/7. You call them at 314-961-4800. Now, here's what happens with the other guy's insurance. You're driving along, kids are in the backseat. Daddy, I got to go to the bathroom. Not now, damn it. Ice. You can't stop. Here comes the adjuster. Adjuster gets out. He says, oh, my God. New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies. To me, it just doesn't make much sense. Guys, check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm.
Roof? You know what that sound is. That's Rufus the Roofing Dog from Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. They're former insurance adjusters. They will fly a drone over your house to check to see if you've had any hail damage. Heck, they'll get up there and tell you themselves. They have an office in Webster Groves, and they're looking to help you out. Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, 314-800-0426. Give them a call. Find them online at lifetimestl.com.
Technology has evolved so quickly that the people running capitalism from the top no longer understand the tools that are necessary for it. They have to pay guys with ponytails and piercings to turn on machines every morning. And that must be very terrifying to them.
Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I will never get tired of those.
Yeah,
I will never.
Whenever we hear integrity talk, everybody lowers their voice.
Yes,
I
we
do.
do.
Try to match it. Hey, baby.
Ladies and
back.
gentlemen, welcome back to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920am.com. This first hour is brought to you by James Carlton State Farm. Check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. He's the best insurance agent in the game, guys. I can't keep telling you this enough. I mean, his customer service, he goes above and beyond, and he is a true man of character. He had an opportunity. He's as good as they come. He had an opportunity to make more money with me. And he's like, Craig, it's more than you need.
Yeah.
It's more than you need. Do this. I think it's a better plan for you and your family.
Save me money.
That's a guy that saved me money, and that's a guy that's earned my business for life.
Yeah, no.
Check out James Carlton.
He's talk about a guy in the community too.
Oh man,
does the Starbucks coffee thing once.
Absolutely, yeah. Treats people to Starbucks. He's a big time donor to the Webster Groves High School.
Yeah.
Their football program, basketball program. He's just
Canterbury.
A good dude,
Yeah,
man.
he's
Canterbury. He's a president of the Webster Groves Rotary.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean the guy's awesome.
He is.
He's a good guy. Check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800.
Underachiever.
Yeah, super underachiever.
Super
Get it
underachiever.
together.
We got a question here. What was that intro clip, Seth?
I mean, it doesn't really have a name.
It's
Okay.
Terrence
a
McKenna.
Seth special. It's a
Terrence
Seth special
McKenna.
is what it is.
It's our good friend Integrity in the control room. He's in the building tonight, and it's fine.
Hey,
He wasn't quite right.
He got him.
That was me. You went.
Was that the guy who had the
Integrity's
voice?
in the building.
Integrity in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was smooth. Yeah,
I can't think of the name of that. The
Don't worry about it.
composer.
I
of
think
the-
it's a
we need to
Seth
get, like,
Gabriel original.
We
Yeah.
need to get like him to just like read children's books and like you
Oh,
could have a
God,
whole
yeah.
another line of like Hoosier products right there.
It's about
Get up on that mic, baby.
I'd be
Get up
making.
on that mic, Mike.
I would be making love to my wife after we read those stories if Integrity was doing Mama Llama.
That strange voice that you heard is our friend Mike Lindner.
Just a stranger.
Strange voice.
Mike, we've been
Strange
Facebook
name,
friends
yeah.
for a long time, and
Yes, we have. Met twice.
You've been a integral part of our Sophisticated Hoosiers community.
Yes.
And we're super glad that you're here joining us. Talk about fitness. Because
Fitness.
we've all got
Fitness
some
segment into the show.
That's right. Fitness segment is my guy. You see how it goes. So yeah,
strong
we're
joke
talk
right
to you a little bit about your journey. What brought you to? Have you always been a health nut? Have you always been in being the strongest man in the room? What's your deal? What's your driver, your motivator to make fitness this centerpiece in your life?
So short answer to those questions, no. I was actually not. I was terribly unathletic in high school. By the way, I'm still getting used to hearing myself in my own ear. So give me a second here.
Sure.
No, actually, for the longest
Probably those
time, I mean,
mushrooms we gave you before the show.
right, exactly.
I'm hearing like three of me.
I can't hear myself past Steve's three heads now.
Your third eye looks beautiful though.
Now
man.
in Technicolor. No, actually, for the longest time, I was actually terribly unathletic, but I was always kind of fascinated by strength culture, So I was one of those like scrawny nerds that always kind of watched, always kind of followed the Flex magazines, your Arnolds, your Franco Columbos, your Frank Zanes, your old school bodybuilding stuff, and then kind of started following powerlifting, and then after college, or no, I guess
questioning your sexuality.
a little bit of that, yeah. No, actually, the funny thing is, right around, God, I guess that was like 1920. I started just really getting into Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And then from there, it just kind of forced me to kind of stay in shape because you really can't do that consistently and be out of shape for very long. Like there's really like guys like that. I don't know how they do it. Like they look really big, but like they have gas for days. Like they'll go run like a marathon and you're just like, dude, this guy's like 400 pounds. How is he lapping everybody? And you just don't understand. So it kind of forced me to start taking care of myself. And one of the instructors at the time, or one of the guys I trained with, our doorstop at that gym was a kettlebell. And so he showed me a few things from there just with a kettlebell. And I'm like, dude, this kettlebell kicked the crap out of me.
This was when you were 19 or 20 years old?
I think right now, by this point, I'm probably like 20, 21.
Because kettlebells are like kind of the rage. Like, I mean, I know Joe Rogan was pimping them and Aubrey Marcus there for a while. Yeah.
Dude, Joe Rogan's been a big fan of them. Actually, one of the videos that Joe will talk about if you listen to his podcast enough is the extreme kettle. I think it's like extreme kettlebell cardio.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The DVD. It's a guy named Keith Weber. He may still be certified, but I know he was a former Russian kettlebell certified instructor. And he has this just insane cardio video. And I'm watching this going, dude, this guy's a chump. I mean, he's just probably one of those guys that looks really strong. And then I didn't make it through like 30 seconds of the video before I'm like, I want to die. And so then it was like, it just really pissed me off. So then I had to keep doing the video until I got it. Well, then I got better at that, found a few instructors, got certified, realized that I have a real knack for coaching. And then from there just kind of took off.
Yeah.
By this point, I'm also still doing corporate training. So in the healthcare industry. And at the same time, I'm also coaching a few people on the side in personal training. And it was just this weird evolution where like just everything happened organically. And then all of a sudden I noticed I had lost like 40 pounds. No, well, that's exaggeration. Probably like 20 pounds. But I lost 20 pounds. I'm in great shape. I have, grip strength. I have core. I have cardio. And I'm like, man, this was all from like 135-pound freaking kettlebell. This is insane.
Jeez.
So then I got I advanced. I got a 50-pound kettlebell.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then I got to start the whole thing all over again. So from there, it just kind of evolved. And then me going through that process of getting certified opened me up to a whole network of individuals who I realized were super like-minded, just incredibly generous with their time, with their coaching. That opened up a door for me to actually go to Ireland and actually learn a specific course that they teach over there called the Amazing 12. I found out later on, I was the first American they ever accepted in the program. So that was kind of a nice little feather in the cap I didn't expect. And then since then, I've just been kind of going full-time personal training, kicking ass, taking names wherever I can.
Oh, man. What now, when you were 17, 18, before you got into the getting yourself in shape, were you...
Before I was a man.
Yeah. Could you tell a transition in your psyche as well?
Oh, dude, absolutely. It's funny because there's just a certain amount, and this is going to sound intimidating. So people listening, please don't
no one's listening.
So for all three of you out there,
that's giving us credit.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
three of us in here.
Well, two of them might be my family.
Okay. All right, good. We got some listeners tonight.
I did share. Time one of our guests brings something to the table.
Right? I did share on Facebook for once. But I think there's just a certain amount of kind of mental toughness. There's a certain pain you kind of have to endure just through training, and it kind of hardens you a little bit. And you realize if you can do a workout right, ladies, there's a certain barrier you break through where I've said this just with jiu-jitsu, when you've got 220-pound gorillas trying to grab your jacket and choke you with it and smash you in the ground, you realize you're paying a monthly fee to do this on these mats. Suddenly an Excel sheet at work doesn't scare the hell out of you anymore.
Yeah, sure.
And when you're doing a workout like that extreme cardio or extreme kettlebell cardio workout, any one of the funny thing is that whole DVD, there's actually, if I remember right, there's 7 workouts on there. And if you do the whole thing start to finish, it's a 45-minute workout. If you do any one of them, it's 7 to 10 minutes tops, I think. And I forget how it breaks out. I know that math doesn't jive right away, but there are some workouts that are a little longer, some that are a little shorter.
Gotcha.
But some of those, I'm like, dude, if you do this whole thing start to finish, this thing will wipe you out. It is a complete total body thing. And you're doing more kettlebell swings than you care to shake a stick at in a year.
Yeah.
In that one DVD. And you just kind of learn, when you break through that thing of oh my God, I just accomplished this. There's this huge amount of pride. There's a huge amount of accomplishment. And so me seeing that with myself, and then me helping clients, me helping friends, and just even people online. I mean, I had a guy in India that actually hit me up because he was having a hard time with this one requirement. He had to be a kettlebell instructor. You have to do 100 snatches in 5 minutes with a certain weighted kettlebell. And I forget, I know typically it's a 53-pound bell. So you're doing 100 snatches, 50-pound bell.
A snatch is what?
I'm sorry. A snatch is from the ground all the way up. Not that other one, Steve. And
I was all in. Now I'm out.
Yeah, right. Dude, the weightlifting humor never ends. especially when we start talking clean and
Oh,
jerks.
wait. Just wait, David.
I like to walk by huge guys at the gym that have like 100-pound dumbbells in each hand. I'm like, oh, you almost done with those, bro?
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah.
You almost have to do it. you almost have to do it with like a deeper octave. Like you're walking in, you're like, hey man, are you done with 150s? Yeah, okay. And then really,
man, you're in my mirror.
and then you're doing like a shrug. You're like, okay, I'm done.
Shoulder shrugs.
Your voice goes to Mickey Mouse afterwards or something.
I'm just,
kind of shrug. They'll get you some traps.
I'm just making sure you're good with the weights.
Yeah,
just checking on you, big
Are you done
boy.
with those? No. I'm just
Good. Yeah,
So
just
does-
checking.
You're a little different in being a personal trainer, kind of one-on-one. I don't know if you're affiliated with a gym. I know a lot of times people will join a gym and that's a service that they may offer.
Mhm.
So you probably have a little bit more freedom
Yes.
doing your thing. Do you find that this time of year, especially, it seems like, everybody starts to get some resolutions,
it's funny
turning a little bit?
This is so the gym I'm actually the gym I do most of my training out of is out in Weldon Springs called Victory Performance Training, and it's a great gym. The guy John that runs that place is just a phenomenal human being.
No free plugs here.
No free plugs.
Hit the
We'll
dumb
send you-
button.
we'll send you a bill.
We'll
Glo-
cut that out. We'll cut that part out.
Globo Gym number 77. Sorry, owner, I can't mention.
No, I'm joking.
I'm kidding. But no, actually, it's funny because right around now I see people doing the resolutions, but like they don't take action until like January 1. And it's like January 1, and they're like, man, 5 a.m. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna kick ass. I got this. January 2, we got this. January 15, why am I doing this again? And then by like February 14th, they're like, yeah, Valentine's Day is chocolate. I can take a day off.
How do you get through that? How do you work? How do you get mentally tough enough to get through that?
So the short answer is like you just gotta have to like keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where a lot of people look for that magic bullet motivation. And there's a great quote, and I forget who said it online, but like I saw this meme one day, and it was like, people ask me all the time, what's your way that you stay motivated? And the answer is I don't have any motivation tips. We're all adults here. And I thought it was hilarious when I read it because it's so simple, but it's one of those things where it's so simple that people like overlook it.
Sure.
So and it really is. It's just, I mean, how do you get up in the morning and take care of your kids? Well, you realize you just kind of have to.
You got to do it.
Take care of my kids.
Florida applies in my place.
Hilarious. That's a good one, Mike. You are funny.
How do you take care of the kids? I don't know. I take their shot collar off.
Let them out of the cage. Let them pee.
Out of the cage and let them air out of it.
You brought up something that resonates with me, and we had a guest a few weeks ago, Mike Brown, who was kind of asking, what's your why? And then just
that's a great one.
keep chasing that until you get to your actual why, because your first couple of answers aren't your real why. They're just kind of ancillary, little benefits to what you're actually trying to do. But you were talking about, when how it hardens you. I remember, when I was lifting weights the most was when I was playing ball, and so like moving from St. Louis to Springfield was just a huge difference as far as sports go. I remember with the school I went to up here, they're like, over the summer, come in and work out at your leisure, whatever. We moved to Springfield, and that was a program. And he's like, all right, you're going to be on the team. You'll be here at 6 o'clock in the morning for weights, and we'll see you there. And otherwise, you're not on the team. Well, that first week, man, it's at 5 o'clock alarm clock comes real early, and you're dragging, and you're 15 years old, and you've never had to be up this early to go to work before. And you get through it, and it's tough. And the idea, like Monday, I remember Mondays and Wednesdays were always like lower body day, like squats and cleans. And I'm like, God, this is how we're going to come back from the weekend. You learn to crave it. And then, like you were saying, it hardens you. I remember at 7:30 when we'd be done, we come out of the showers and we go to the cafeteria, and all these other kids were just getting to school for breakfast, and they look like they just drug out of bed, and you're
amped up.
And I'm like, I've already done more today than you're going to do the entire day. And that's an empowering,
probably the entire week for some
that's
of
an
those kids.
Empowering feeling, man.
Absolutely.
Like I know that's kind of a Marine thing or whatever.
That and giving them swirlies.
Yeah.
Right.
You idiot, I can lift weight now. I'm a strong guy.
Well, the difference is now Craig's warmed up to give them swirlies. So he's not going to pull a he's not going to blow a rotator cuff.
Right, exactly. I've stretched. Like this swirly will come at no strenuous, benefit. No, but you talk about like there is something to that. Like he was asking, what's my why? And I'm not sure what my why is. I want my physicality back. I want to be more athletic. I want to compete in things. For the longest period of my life, sports were everything. And as long as I was playing something, I wanted to be one of the best ones on the field doing it. And as I've gotten older and gotten away from some of that competition, the urge to lift for something has dissipated, right? Like now it's, I got to lift just because I got to take care of my body. It's not, I got to lift because I got to be the fastest guy or I got to be the strongest guy. So I feel like you got Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I feel like that's a motivator for you. What's that thing that I can find that makes me want to be bigger, stronger, faster so that I can be better at that,
Well, you do have a wedding coming up. So.
I do have that.
Do you think accountability, like Craig and I are going to try to, we can jump into that a little bit, but we want to try to get swole. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. And I think having
don't see motivated. Oh, we're gonna get swole.
He's like, we're gonna get motivated, and then he's like, I need an adjective. Right now.
I was searching for it.
Well, before we go too much into that, why don't you let everybody know about your actual business? Because I think that we have a lot of fans that are probably going to be interested going into the new year. Steve and I are planning on a fitness routine. We're going to do it with Mike, and I think what's going to be really cool is the two of us are two completely different body types.
Yeah, look at this
and
guy.
probably have two totally different.
I feel like I should be in the middle and be like, we have like a transitional.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Settle down, Mike. Okay.
I don't want to speak for you, Steve. But maybe he wants to add mass. I
do.
I want to lose a little bit of mass.
I'm at 180 when I was felt. Like 180 was looking real good.
180, I think,
and I'm 167 right now.
I think like 205,
170
210 is where I'm living, is where I want to be. And I got a long way to go.
Well, how are you?
Way to go. I'm 5'9".
There's something about it, just a really like for most men, especially like there's just something about that range of like 185 to like 215. Like if you're like in a really good state of athleticism, it doesn't matter what age you're at.
Right.
For some reason, if you're in decent shape and you really have the discipline to take care of yourself, and I kind of going back to your thing earlier, what's your why? We got a guy doing girls.
Bring those in there.
Integrity is pumping
Steve's
iron.
Do some demonstrations
curls for the girls. Integrity.
That's awesome.
Curls for the world.
That's right.
But there's something to be said about like it. When it comes to motivation, like I can't remember which one of my clients asked me this a few months back, but they said, "Hey, how do you stay motivated in the morning to get up at like 5 a.m.?" And I said, "Well, first off, you're paying me, so that's a great motivator."
Sure. It's your job.
But all kidding aside, like if she wasn't there, I said I would probably still go to the gym and I'd still be there ready to go. And I would either get work done for myself, like either go through some admin stuff, or I would get on the rower. I would do my workout because, it's not even so much of an issue of motivation. It's kind of a discipline thing. Like you said earlier, you kind of get into that routine and you just don't want to break that because as soon as you break it, it's harder to get back into it. And it's almost easier to just go forward than it is to stop and go, oh crap, man, today sucks. I'm, going to kick the can down the street and just, I'm tired. I'm sore. I don't want to do it. And
Poor me.
Me.
We've already plugged Rogan, but he's got a little clip where he talks about defeating your inner bitch.
Yeah.
Like get up and handle it. You know, like, and you don't want to go do the yoga. It's going to be hard. And the heat's 125 degrees in the room. He's like, but
that's that hot yoga. That's that sadistic yoga is what that is.
Yeah, there's never been a day though. He's like, every single time I never think I'm going to get through it. And then by the time I'm done with it, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I did that.
He said that's his best version of himself.
And you're so glad that you
and there's something about that too. Like when you have the discipline to actually push through and stay true to yourself and stay true to your goal. I know it's the cliche thing, but like if you really have a goal and you do the work that you need to go for it, it doesn't matter if it's weightlifting, it doesn't matter if it's jujitsu or your business or your wife or your husband, your spouse, whatever, whatever you have to do. If you just stay on a routine and keep that going, it's really hard to deter someone. I mean, it's almost like you kind of get in this like zombie mode where like nothing's really going to stop you and you're just going to kind of keep going forward. Like, oh, my schedule got completely out of whack. Well, I'm still going to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to let it stop you. Like, it may be like constant. 9 p.m., but I'm going, damn it.
It's a constant in your life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Make it just make it right. Because now nutrition comes along, right? Like we got to start eating right. Because I know we eat like garbage, man. Like, oh my God. What are some tips on that?
Well, and Steve's the guy that eats like garbage and has a 24 pack. So I know we punch him in his face.
We had lunch one day, and I'm sitting here watching him eat the sandwich. Where was it? The gramophone?
Yeah. Oh, baby.
We give them a lot of good plugs.
I heard you guys talk about the Grove earlier, so I figured that plug is safe.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm watching him just plow through the sandwich, and I'm just like, dude, this guy is not going to gain a single pound, and I'm going to be on the rower for like an hour later. I just know it.
Yeah, how do I start gaining weight? Just eat. Everyone tells me, they're like, you just got to eat more.
I don't know what your primary job is, but your secondary job needs to be eat.
Yeah, that's what the people like. They're like, I'm like, go get a protein shake or something. They're like, that ain't gonna do it for you, okay, kiddo. Like you gotta
do it. Help. You watch that documentary, Born.
I was just gonna say, if you watch Born Strong, just take notes.
Watching those guys
really
is insane. Dude, the one guy, I think Eddie Hall, like $1,100 a week. in groceries.
Yeah, I wouldn't
can do
recommend
that.
going that far.
No,
Just
like,
but yeah,
I can do that.
And that's what was crazy. Like they're talking about him, and he was like a
Steve's like just
world-class
taking it rated
swimmer,
Aldi's
you
over
know.
there.
And your swimmers are typically super
Oh,
thin,
yeah, dude.
carved
Yeah.
out, lean guys, beat out. And he was like this world-class swimmer in high school, and now he's like this. He's my height, he's like 5'9", maybe 6 foot tall, and he's 400 pounds,
Right.
pulling 1,500 pounds off the ground.
That's
He's like,
insane.
you can only, you know, and what was Mark Henry saying? He's like, never going to be a strong man. He's got abs.
Right.
Like, you got to have that extra, you got to have that extra weight there. You know,
you can't be a strong man with abs for sure.
But okay, so Mike, like our fans listening along here, that you know,
Hi,
Steve and I are
fans.
looking to start a journey with you and get our diet right and add strength and lose fat. For you know, you're quite a ways away from us. If some of our fans are down in Jeffco by me, or even further, is there a way to train with you? Do you have a program where if they can't be with you, they can train along online?
Yeah, actually, there's a great program that I started using a while back in my business where it allows me to deploy a program. There's actually an app you can download, and anybody that enrolls in this program with me, I give them access to it right away. I set up their account for them. I mean, it may take a day or two for the extra routines to show up or the workouts to show up. And they may only get like a week right up front, but that gives me a little bit of time to say like, hey, let's get through this week and just almost treat that like an assessment time.
Yeah, sure.
And then I'm kind of seeing what they do. But the cool thing is they can give me feedback. And if I'm logged in as they're doing it, I can almost see it real time. So like, for example, if you guys are in the gym and I say, hey, you're going to hit the rowing machine for 5 minutes and I want you to tell me like how far you go or how much power you're putting or how many watts are coming out every stroke, ladies. And
like, Mike, I didn't go anywhere.
I'm just going to take that.
on that.
I'm going to take that joke away from Steve before he gets it.
Thanks a lot, Mike. This is my show. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Bump this guy. We're
Now,
gonna
earlier you were talking about age, and as long as you're in a good state of athleticism.
Yeah.
What about testosterone levels? How does that work into that? Because I know we're in our mid 30s now.
Yeah,
That's
let
kind of
me get to that in just a
to.
second here. I want to finish the answer about the program. But yeah, basically there's an app you can use to deploy that I use to deploy programs to anybody. It doesn't matter if you're in Jeffco, it doesn't matter if you're in St. Louis or if
trying
you're
to swing a kettlebell in India.
swinging a kettlebell in India.
Yeah.
Shout out to Yusuf if he's still on Facebook. But yeah, I can deploy a program to you anywhere. And then the cool thing is you have to check it off, which means that you're giving me the feedback of I get a notification. Craig did his workout. Steve did his workout. Integrity is over
Is there any way to
curling in the room.
lie and say I did do everything?
You can, but here's the
Okay,
cool thing
good.
about it. Like long enough, after a while, I'm going to find out. And the reason why is
Dang
because I'm going to steadily increase your workouts to where like one day you're going to maybe catch up to yourself and be like, I can do this workout. And then you're like, dude, I totally got crushed under the bar. And that's when I'm going to be like, yeah, guess who's been lying for 4 weeks? Guess who just got caught?
Right.
So there is a certain amount of accountability, or like there are times where like I'll ask someone to put a note in. And if they're not doing the workout, like I caught one guy on this. It was so funny. And I said, hey, I want you to do this, but tell me how many reps you get in 20 minutes. And I had him do like 2 lifts back and forth. He had to superset these things. And he just checked it off, and I got the little green box. So I texted him like, hey man, how many reps did you get? And he goes, oh, I wasn't counting. I'm like, yeah, you didn't read the note, did you?
Right.
And he's like, no, I read the note. I'm like, dude, it was like the only, like, I didn't even put a workout in there. Like, I think he was just thinking it was the thing that we did last time.
Yep.
And yeah, I caught him. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And I'm like, yeah, now go do the workout.
You got to get that mentality out of your head too. That like,
Well, who are you cheating?
Yeah.
Who are you actually cheating?
And that's the thing, right?
You only cheat
And we,
yourself.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
paying
We
for
talk
this.
about that too, because it's like, who are you really cheating? Like, are you cheating the app? Are you cheating me? Or are you cheating yourself? Like, if people are going to, especially like, when personal training is not cheap sometimes. Like,
Sure.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of right in the middle of the road as far as what trainers are costing nowadays, but it's one of those things where it is an investment in your time. And like, you wouldn't want to invest into college and then not go to class.
I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, right. And and the funny thing is,
dumb.
people say, "Oh, I did that," and what's the next comment? Oh man,
That's so dumb.
Yeah, sure. It's regret.
right. There is the
Sure.
regret. So you regret like shorting yourself that opportunity to invest back in yourself, and it doesn't matter if it's college or the weight room. It's still an investment in yourself. It's either your mental health or your education, or it's your physical health in your body.
Yeah,
So
right on.
and then going to your question about testosterone, man, I'll be honest. There's a lot of your question was like, how do you? Here, ask your question again. Make sure I'm on the same page here.
Just how does it affect us? Like, exactly.
Oh,
once,
dude,
you, once you
older.
get to like,
Yeah.
I heard it's like past 30.
I haven't hit
33.
puberty yet, so
And
I'm
there's
waiting.
of course, there's certain foods you should avoid that would kill it, like fried food.
Yeah, that's stuff that I kind of get into with people. Like a lot of what I deal with is just kind of, to be honest, most of the people that I start working with, we're laying foundational habits. So it's the stuff where like to give you a really funny story here. I had a guy that he showed up to my gym one day, and this is before I came back to Victory, and the guy weighed like probably 380, almost 400 pounds. And we were talking about a routine to get him on just to drop the weight because he says his doctor's yelling at him and he's got heart issues and he's trying to get. So I said, okay, we have to approach this with kid gloves because I don't want you putting a lot of pressure on your body to where your breathing's going to be short. I want to keep the heart rate going healthy, but I don't want to kill you at the same time. I don't want to like force you to stroke out. So we're
good on you.
Yeah, it's
Mike.
a
Good on
stress
you,
test.
Mike.
Yeah. So we're stress tested. But at the same time, then he starts asking me, he's like, well, what are your thoughts on nutrition? I said, well, here's some basic guidelines. And we kind of went over it. And at one point, he starts chastising the ingredients on stuff. He sends me a text message and sending the ingredients on just a basic protein shake I told him to pick up at like Costco.
Yeah.
And it was just a standard run of the mill, like, I think it's called Gold Standard. It tastes like chocolate milk when
you see that on like shelves at Walmart.
Yeah. And I mean, some of the stuff, like, to be honest, like, could we get really granular and break down which one's really the best in the industry? Yes. Or could we accept the fact that right now you're probably not doing enough of whatever that is to begin with, hence why there's a supplement? Yes. Okay, let's start with basics. If we can get the basics down, we can take that up another level. So at one point, he started asking me, would it be better to do kale versus spinach? Would it be better to do this protein versus this? Because the one I recommended has certain artificial flavors, artificial like sweeteners, and has certain food colorings in there. And the other one did too, but it didn't have as much. And finally, I had to ask him, like, what are you currently doing? Because when you went on your intake form, and I took a picture and sent it back to him, and I circled, it said you have McDonald's 4 times a week, 5 times a week, sometimes 3 times a day. So, pardon my French, but what the hell, dude? Like, you're going to chastise me over McDonald's 3 times a day, and now you want to start reading the label?
This has red 40 in it.
Yeah, red 40
is bad for
red
you.
40. Do you know what a Big Mac has, dude? Seriously, let's back up a step here. So we had to really
Big Mac and
now I made it.
We turn Mike into us instead of Mike turning the
God,
other way around. He's like Taco Bell, like we ruined Mike's life.
Yeah, it's like,
He's like, you guys been holding out on these chalupas? You've been holding out this whole time?
I didn't know.
I'm drinking protein shakes and you're just taking down ground beef and sour cream.
Wait a minute,
You cracking eggs open and drinking it?
You had food? What the?
What's going on here?
What is this?
No, I had a friend I hated. He was a mixed martial artist, and he drank Mountain Dew and frozen pizzas before working out. He's like, food's fuel. That's all you need. You just need some food. And he was cut, and he's just a rare example of rare
There's those guys.
There are some people that we can just label under the category of like genetic a-holes.
Yeah,
and
just their metabolism's through the roof or something.
Yeah, and the thing is though that
I'm gonna punch the one right next to me. I'm gonna punch him.
Have you seen
right
his
Anyone
abs?
have any laundry?
He doesn't do ab workouts, and I do, and his stomach is
I haven't done an ab workout.
grind
like
meat
it's
on those
Photoshopped.
things.
I got a hernia doing Pilates.
I just hang, I hang
Poor
out
guy.
with Craig a lot, and he makes me laugh, and it works my core out.
Hey, listen, Mike, you want to hang around with us for a little while?
Yeah, I got a little time.
You here for a little bit?
Let's do this.
Guys, we're up against it again. The
my
guy
God.
just talks and he talks. I know you don't feel like you heard me and Steve talking. I know that's why you tune in. But that was the Mike Lindner hour.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Results training. We're going to come back with him on the other side of the break. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll see you on the other side.
Hey, it's your pal, Stephen George Elgin. Many of you saw me get my bum tattooed on live video with our friends at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. What? Obviously, many people trust my opinion, so I'm going to talk to you about my top 3 reasons why I regularly visit Parlor STL, and Seth is going to translate it for all you punk rock skater kids. First of all, the cocktail menu is better than any you will find anywhere in the city.
Say word, son. They mix it up tight if you want to get that sip on.
The Nug Shack serves up some of the best farm-fresh fried chicken you'll ever eat.
Cluckety cluck. They got that sicky fresh chicken for your face.
The place is packed full of old-school arcade games, plus pinball and even skee-ball.
They got games for days, son. Ask your mom about them.
That's Parlor, located at 4170 Manchester. Check them out at parlorstl.com. And speaking of tattoos, you got the itch to get inked? Visit Tower Classic Tattooing about 100 feet east of Parlor. View their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
I ain't got no job.
Hey Hoosiers, Craig Kohler here. With home buying season heating up, be sure to get a quote from a top agency and provider of the #1 home insurer in North America. They offer coverage that's second to none. In fact, if your AC goes out, they offer a new endorsement where you can get a replacement from a local HVAC company. Give them a call, 314-961-4800. If you get a machine and you don't talk to a person, we'll give you one of these fine Hoosier Sophisticate tees. Just takes one phone call or apply online at carltoninsurance.net. People do business with James because they like and trust him. Just check them out on Google and Facebook. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, then call James Carlton State Farm.
Lifetime Roofing, where you at? Lifetime Roofing, where you at? Okay, a lot of people have come out and tried to talk game on Lifetime Roofing. Well, guess what? It's time for a little clap back. Let's get it, though. Lifetime Roofing now. If you just Google Lifetime Roofing, why? If you Google it, Lifetime Roofing is just the truth. It's the truth. I got the proof. Lifetime Roofing and doofing and doofing. And you just Google goo. And you just Google goo. And it's a Lifetime Roofing and it's just a proof. Lifetime Roofing and doofing and just a Google it. Lifetime Roofing and goofing, I just go Google it. But seriously, Google Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. They're excellent.
A little something different for the St. Louis radio world. Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin.
Michael Minkin from StopAbductions.com.
Because we believe that the aliens are actually invading and taking people with the purpose of taking control of our society. Aliens are mixing our DNA with their DNA to make a new race that is now integrating into our society.
Hoosier Sophisticate, Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk. And for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
Stay tuned next for the Voice of Reason. Hi, I'm sales seminarist Robert Reason. Whether you're in sales or not, you will benefit. Join me every Saturday at 3 and Sunday at 5 right here on WGNU 920 AM or 106.9 FM.
What y'all doing in here?
Get out of here, Stevie. We're taking CBD, and you don't want no part of this.
You're taking some of that CBD?
Yeah, of course we are. Can't you see it?
No, I can't.
Come on, Stevie. Join the party.
No, Stevie, you don't want this. Get out of here.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want no hangover. I can't get no hangover.
It doesn't give you a hangover.
Well, I don't want. Will I get addicted to something?
It's not habit forming.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't want to OD on it.
You can't OD on it.
It's not going to make me want to have sex, is it?
It makes sex even better.
Sounds kind of expensive.
Oh, it's the cheapest drug there is. You don't want it, Stevie.
I think I kind of want it.
Okay, just this once. Come on in.
Guys, go to momedcanco.com and enter HOSO at the checkout and receive 15% off anything store-wide. Visit momedcanco.com.
When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved. It was a lot of work, but it was really worth it.
That's right, Dad. Now the whole family can stream WGNU live by visiting WGNU920am.com.
We installed the internet on our computer just a short time ago, and I haven't been able to get the kids off it ever since.
That's right. Isn't the internet neat? You can also listen to past shows and featured interviews on our homepage.
No wonder you guys are always so busy on the computer.
WGNU920am.com. Point, click, and listen live.
It's really cool.
This is St. Louis Baseball Weekly.
You said everything will be all well in a few days. What level of concern should Cardinal fans have regarding your elbow?
I mean, if you're concerned whether I make 30 or 31 starts, then be very concerned if you're concerned whether he's going to make 30 or 10 than not.
St. Louis Baseball Weekly with Brian Stoll every Friday at noon right here on WGNU 920 AM.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thought. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusion.
Welcome back, St. Louis. Let's get your mind right with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU.
I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive. Through excessive thinking, they have lost touch with reality.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back.
Sophisticate. That was Alan Watts bringing us back. I could listen to him. Miss and I were talking about it. I think there was a time period where we listened to like over 48. It was playing on a 48-hour loop where it was just nothing but Alan Watts talks. It's great. Good stuff to sleep to. You can just sip all that stuff in. Him and Terrence McKenna. You want to get out there, expand your consciousness a little bit. Those guys are unbelievable. We were telling everybody we're going to talk a little bit about this hemp bill. And it seems as though it's something to celebrate, or it should be something to celebrate, right? Like, it's very easy. There's so much support for legalizing hemp. It's a crop that can fix our dependence on petroleum-based plastics and fuel and textiles. And, it cleans the soil. And it does literally everything that you get out of hardwood timbers, but you can grow it at a rate that's exponential to those trees. You can, I think you get maybe 2 or 3 crop yields a year on it. It's amazing what we can do with paper and everything else. And so hey, they voted for it. It's great. Now they're going to recognize CBD. Not so fast, Steve, because one of the things that this bill does is it now gives the FDA control over CBD in general. And I feel as though many of the CBD companies that are out there, that have been helping our Missouri Medical Cannabis Company. How many people have we had say that this supplement has changed their life, has helped with pain, has helped with sleep, has helped with menopausal issues, have helped their pets, has helped, just a bevy. And we're not even talking about the big stuff like kids with seizures and whatnot. But with GW Pharmaceuticals getting Epidiolex passed, now the FDA is over, and now it's looking like a lot of these companies that have been providing CBD, they're not in good shape.
Which is crazy.
It's insane.
Interesting. It's crazy because the FDA always was like, oh, well, it's not approved by the FDA, so you can't put anything on the bottle, as far as the ingredients, and it's not approved, and all this kind of weird mumbo jumbo that goes on behind the scenes, all this bureaucracy BS. But if this is going to take it out of the control of the people, that's a rough go. Because I know your boy Thomas Massey, the senator out of Kentucky, right?
Congressman, yeah.
Congressman, thank you.
House, yeah.
Last week, the House suspended provisions of the 1973 War Powers Act using a procedural vote for the Farm Bill. Before that, they used the Manage Our Wolves Act to dispense with a resolution to withdraw U.S. support for the war in Yemen. I shudder to imagine what's going to be attached to the omnibus this week. It's legislative malpractice to pass bills this way. I think we would serve the country better by dealing with one subject per bill.
1,000,000%. We need to take into consideration that I think that I said it last week. I'll say it again. I think one of the biggest issues, first off, Congress seems as though they're not doing anything for the people. And it's been that way for 10, 15 years. We're so disconnected from our representatives, and the amount of money coming from a very small amount of people deciding who is winning elections has removed how much they care whether or not we approve of the job that they're doing. And we can't just have these single issue votes. And if they put a thing on that says, hey, we are completely decriminalizing hemp, we are going to encourage hemp growth and everything, I think that everybody would be on board with it because it makes perfect sense. The only people that wouldn't be on board with it are the same type of people that write this farm bill. People like Mitch McConnell, right? Like when I saw that this was Mitch McConnell's bill, Okay, and this is me, a guy that has voted Republican most of my life, or very conservative, and Mitch McConnell is a guy that I can't stand. I've never been able to stand. I think he is the worst representation of the Republican Party. He just drives me absolutely insane. So when he does, I like, okay, now I've already got a red flag up. Okay, this is the guy that presented the bill. Wait a minute, why are guys like Rand Paul and Thomas Massey and Justin Amash, why are they voting against
no?
it? Why are the liberty-minded guys voting against it? Right? Why does it have full support from the party that I don't agree with? And there's like 18 people who I typically do agree with. Let's look a little bit more into this. It allows them to trademark flowers. Now huge companies get to say, well, no, that's got our genes are in that flower. You are not allowed to use that. You're not allowed to make a medicine out of it. Oh, by the way, you're not allowed to call it a medicine anymore. You're not allowed to say any kind of healing benefits that might be attached to it. You're not even allowed to say that it's an effective essential oil anymore. The FDA now, it's still a Schedule 5. CBD is still a Schedule 5.
Does it take it off? They try to act like hemp and cannabis are different things. I mean, it's the same plant, just different ratios of THC and CBD, because I think THC, it's still the 0.3%.
Correct.
Which a lot of the testing equipment has a ratio of 0.3% either direction. So that's kind of a messed up deal. I mean, when we talked at the conference, some of the best labs in the country, they're 0.3% of not knowing what the percentages of. That's the margin of error. But I mean, is it a good thing in the way that it does kind of schedule? Is it gonna roll downhill as far as now we get all of cannabis, whether how much percentage of THC it has in it? Is it that going to be off the schedule? Do you think that has anything to tie in with this?
It's not. Here's what's frustrating. An ideal scenario for all of us is that cannabis would just be decriminalized completely, and there wouldn't even have
non-scheduled at all.
But we have to understand that even on the pro-cannabis side, there are people that have insane amounts of money invested, their life's work invested into building this framework to convince politicians and prohibitionists that this is a good thing. Well, now that they have money invested, the last thing in the world they want to see is it to be completely decriminalized and opened up to anybody to grow as much as they want or give as much as they want away. Now they have a vested interest in it. So there is a now you're fighting the liberty angle is now fighting a two-headed monster, because you have the people that were against it, and then you have the people that are totally for it.
Yeah.
But there's a small group of people that are totally for it that have a ton of money in the game. And what's really frustrating is we touched on just a little bit in the first hour, is companies like huge conglomerates that were anti-cannabis, fighting it down. Well, now they're like, well, it's legal now. Guess what? We got $100 million to spend. We're going to get into the game. We're going to see how we can infuse drinks with CBD to make sure that it can really help it. Well, that's interesting, because all along you said that it had no benefits, and you were vehemently against it. So now all the people that did all of this legwork, all the mom and pop shops, they're going to get squeezed out by this huge conglomerates, man. And it's just really disheartening to the whole movement. I don't think it's something to celebrate. Is I guess the whole point of this whole thing is the cannabis community seems like, oh, hey,
it is
this is being put out in the news like, hey, this is a great thing. We got hemp passed and it's a part of the big farm bill and everything. Oh, by the way, if you've ever had a felony, you're not going to be allowed to participate in this industry, at least for 10 years. I mean, and if you don't have if you're not in the game now and you're trying to get in 10 years, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck 10 years from now. I mean, there's just so many.
It's ludicrous, because the way our government works is beyond crazy, because my buddy just went to Washington, D.C. He just went to D.C. Cannabis is legalized there. Okay. There's nowhere to buy it. Okay. What you have to do is you get online and you find these places that are like cookie shops.
Right.
And God, what was the names of it were so dumb.
There's like some kind of underground term or something.
Eighth cookie, yes, and all this weird stuff, and they deliver it to you. All you can do, you can't go on federal property. Everybody can have it. You can gift it. It's a gifting market. In our nation's capital, it's a gifting market of cannabis. So they said, oh, you're paying for these cookies or whatever, but here's your cannabis. These cookies were $100.
Meanwhile, in Prague, you can have like how much cannabis on you and how much cocaine on you at all times, and like nobody gives a crap.
Let's go.
I mean, we should absolutely. I mean, that's something that obviously it's a means to an end. We got to end the war on drugs. We got to end this prohibition state that we live in. Rather than treat it like
drugs
a criminal act.
Drugs
exactly.
The drugs, by the way, are undefeated in the war on drugs. They are winning it,
reigning undisputed heavyweight champion.
They're like father time, baby. They ain't going anywhere.
But this guy made it actually a pretty good point. He's like, for many men in rural Kentucky where illegal marijuana was the staple crop, the lifetime ban included in the proposed farm bill. Now, this was when it was still a proposed farm bill. It means they're shut out of growing an industry which they have actual job skills. Like these are the people that might know the most about it.
Yes.
Like maybe just lean on those guys that you said were criminals just because you decided to wake up.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That is insane because it's all a game. It's all a game with the money too, because and them sticking other stuff in the bills, man. I just don't. It's upsetting.
Listen to this paragraph here. Politicians beginning to speak up about the injustice of lingering cannabis convictions hampering people's ability to work, secure loans, or vote, while people like the former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, stand to get rich from multi-billion-dollar cannabis operations such as Acreage Holdings. Cities such as Los Angeles and Oakland have social equity programs that are designed to give those who suffered under the war on drugs a leg up in the legal industry. The felon ban in the Farm Bill appears designed to do just the opposite. So you take all of these people who, for whatever reason, were participating. Well, I'll tell you why they were participating in this illegal industry, because there's a market for it. That's how markets work. The reason why cannabis is really not this faux pas, the reason why is because there's always been buyers.
Yes.
There's always been buyers for these things. And even though you say, well, that's illegal, well, guess what? People are still lined up around the block to buy it. So why don't you get on somewhere?
What's the age-old quote though? Like, show me your checkbook and I'll show you what your motivation is.
Sure.
Yep. It's like if there's money to be made somewhere, of course, that's what their motivation is going to be for. And it's why they wanted it illegal for a long time. It's almost like they want to do everything they can to stall until they know they can legally make as much cash as they can off of it.
Yeah.
And then boom, here you go. Now this is why it's like, you're seeing these guys flip. You're going to see guys that were pro, bans across the board. All of a sudden they're going to flip and be like, oh, well, now it's okay. Well, why is it okay now? Oh, wait, there's like $15 million in your back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Well, the hemp industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yep.
I mean,
not even CBD is getting to a crazy numbers.
And we're not even really all of the tangential business that is going to be propped up because now hemp can be legally grown. What's going to happen is you're going to have these mega farm operations who are getting these massive subsidies in the Farm Bill, by the way, that are just going to squeeze out small farmers. And it's only going to pad the pockets of the people that are already running businesses that are heavy in the black. They're already making huge amounts of money.
Right.
It's just a really unfortunate thing. And as much as we talk about cannabis on the show and all the good news of cannabis, it's super frustrating to see even people who we fought alongside to get Amendment 2 passed. Like, I don't know if it's out of ignorance or what, or maybe like it seems like something we want to celebrate, but this is not something to celebrate. This is the time where people in the cannabis community who have fought for the last couple of years to make this happen, to stand up and say, whoa, you're doing this on the backs of our labor. And now you're going to squeeze us out with some ridiculous rules that Mitch McConnell of all people decided was fair. Get out of here.
That is the
Get
worst.
on somewhere.
Hey, it's illegal. It's bad. It's illegal. It's illegal. You're bad. Go into a cage. Ruin your life.
Oh,
hey,
it's good. It's good, but only for my buddy that runs a $100 million farm operation.
Guys, turns out it's not that bad. I know you lost all your student loans because I got caught with it in college. They brought me in a room and they're like, all your grants and loans and everything, you lost them all because you had a zong in your car that you left.
Taken from me.
I wake up. Okay, so it was an awesome night. I'm in Lathrop, all girls dorm. Like we were partying, having a great time. Took them out. Dodge Stratus, got the zong out.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
That's why I bought it. It's exactly why I bought it. I bought 2 because of that skit.
He called it the stratosphere.
He's like, I can do 32 push-ups.
Yeah.
So it's a great time. I spend the night at Lathrop. Awesome. We party, whatever. Well, I wake up and it's the 8th floor of Lathrop. And at Mizzou, Lathrop overlooks the football field and then the parking lot. I see a cop, a MU student cop or whatever, just Slim Jim in my car. Like I have never seen anyone try to open a car door. I'm like, he's doing damage. I can tell this guy.
And why?
It's almost like to the point where he might as well just bust the window. It would
Yes,
be better.
yes, he's destroying the internal components of my door. Like I could see, I'm like, what is that thing? So he's jacking. I'm looking down. I'm like, do I go down there? What do I do? Why is he doing that? Well, I was parked in a 45-minute parking spot or whatever. I guess I'd pulled in there the night before. So I get down there and I'm like, hey man, what's the word? And he's like, you need to sit down, put your hands on the curb. You know, you're under arrest. And I was like, what? And he's like, come here.
This is a student cop, by the way.
Yeah. And
just
I'm
checking.
like, what? I was like, you just told me to sit down on the curb. I'm like, now you're telling me to come here. I was like, I'm going to run. And I was like, no, everything's attached to my car.
He wanted you to scoot on the floor is what he wanted.
I was like, hey, okay, I'm here. And he's like, come here and look. And I look in the back seat, and that Zong's just sitting there. It's about 3 foot tall. And I'm like, oh, that. So he cuffs me, puts me on the front steps, but joke's on him. All these chicks had to walk out past me, and I'm like, I don't care. Take me to jail, man. I don't care. Like, just making it seem. Just like,
really what he wanted to say,
crying.
before the other students came out is, you see this right there? You see this? Share.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then I had an old beer can under my seat, too. He gave me a minor in possession. I was like, check the born on date. But the thing's old as heck, I bet.
I can still taste the Rockies.
But after that, I had to go to my counselor or whatever, and they had a big hearing, like the student body president, and they're like, you got caught with this. You're losing your Pell Grant. I'm like, oh my God, I guess I'm not going to school anymore. Oh, weed's ruined my life. You know, I was like, and that's at the point where I'm like, is weed sucking my motivation, or do I just not want to do what I want to do?
Right.
You know, like,
yeah. Do I not want to be a stockbroker?
Business finance. I'm like, I didn't. Now that's another thing. Motivation with working out. Are you? Do you have any thoughts on cannabis and working out? Because we were in contact with a lady who ran a gym in Colorado where she CBD. She'd give them CBD before or after. She'd say, okay, smoke this for, eat this for body aches. You know, she incorporated a total game plan strategy within her framework to help people get healthier, because the endocannabinoid system, it needs supplemented.
To be honest, as far as like just straight up cannabis, as far as like, you know, with THC and CBD, I'll be honest, man, this is going to sound terrible on my coming on the show here with everything, but I don't have enough personal experience with that to really speak on it. But I will. You're the expert. 70% of stats are made up, and 60% of the time they're right all the time. Now, I will say that as far as like CBD goes, I mean, you guys mentioned Momed Canco. Like I use that supplement religiously, and that has eased a lot of joint pain. And I mean, just doing jujitsu, you get banged up.
Sure.
You know, and whether it's with the gi or without the kimono on or whatever, and, you know, it just beats you up. And then weightlifting, you know, if you train hard enough, like, and you don't take the time, like I'm really stubborn about not stretching and warming up. I need to get better at it. I really do. So it's, you know, me calling
myself yoga
out.
or anything like that?
You know what? Not as much as I'd like to. There's a place not too far from where I train that does hot yoga. I try to get out there like at least once or twice a week when I can, but it's tough sometimes.
I remember my wife got into yoga and she's like, yeah, try this out. I'm like, oh, stretch. Yeah, I think I can stretch.
Yeah.
But holding a pose, I was like, I'm dying a little bit.
Right.
Like, it'll get you.
And what I will say on that though is, like, you know, there are some people that say, like, you know, I'll smoke weed before I go train jiu-jitsu because they feel like it relaxes them.
Rolling smoke tournament. There was a whole
there was a whole
where they smoke on the field, on the mat.
Yeah, I think it was called High Rollers.
High Roll, yeah.
It was hilarious. Like, just watching. First off, I love the puns on it. So the dad joke humor all throughout the whole tournament cracked me up.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like, have I ever done that? No, but I mean, I know people who have, and they seem like, you know, they do fine for themselves. I think it really depends on personal preference, and I think it depends on your body type too. There are some people that just are going to react a certain way to others, and it's so hard to pin down. Like, I mean, yeah, with the endocannabinoid system, like it's going to respond a little different for you than it would for me.
Sure,
it's going to respond different for Craig. Integrity, his voice will actually get smoother, I think.
That's not possible.
Like silk.
You sound like a murderer right there.
Well, again, I don't have the smooth, buttery voice that he does. I'm yelling at people all day long, so I've got the like gravelly, like drill instructor tone. But no, I think it's just one of the things where, like, I will do the CBD oil before and after training just because it does kind of help. I've noticed it keeps the inflammation down in the joints.
Okay.
So days where I know I'm pushing a little bit harder, like I know, like I'm not gonna have to wake up and pop ibuprofen like they're Skittles. So that's kind of my personal take on it there. So that I'll support all day long. I don't have anything against the other stuff. It's just one of those, like, I'll tell people just, hey, don't go in the deep end too quick. Just like anything, you don't want to start day one trying to squat your body weight if you've never squatted before.
Yeah.
So don't think you're going to smoke 3 bowls and then perform at your best.
I mean,
I know you need 5 or 6 at least.
Almost every doctor that spoke at the Missouri Medical Cannabis Conference back in October, kind of said that. Even Casara Andre talking about pets, like, you just baby steps, man. You don't really know where to start, so just start very small.
That's when I booed her off the stage. Remember?
But it made me think of something when you're saying that, because I'm one of those guys, like, I take Advil. I'm like, I see no difference. Like, no matter the medicine, I'm like,
sinus pills are the only thing for me when I take
something like that.
I'll feel it clearing me up.
Right.
Even though apple cider vinegar and some herbs that, shout out to Andrea, that she gave me, that seems to do. I can actually feel it kind of filtering out, which
I've
is
heard
a great
people talk
feel.
about like apple cider vinegar, turmeric, and like cayenne. They do a little shot of that. And I'm like, dude, if that doesn't get you jacked, I don't know. And I know some people
had me on that, a little bit of honey and lemon.
Yeah, exactly. And I know some people that smoke a sativa before they do heavy kettlebell cardio workouts too. So it just, I think it really depends on the person, and just, some people respond a certain way, some people, and it may even be, to be honest, it may even be the particular strain that you're using.
Sure. Too. There's a lot to that, and we don't know yet because we haven't had any of the studies yet. Oh, we got Integrity's moms in the building.
Integrity's moms in the building. There she is. Hey.
That's a mom with integrity.
It is. I think it's a sister.
But one thing I was going to say is I do feel, though, and as I've like you said, just eat like garbage. The more and more trash you put in your body,
thing too.
The more you don't feel the effects of those things. The more you clean up your gut biome, all of a sudden, like, I recoup from that workout.
I think your gut biome affects your head too.
For sure.
It actually does.
What do we say? We don't know that there's no proof that consciousness is formed in the brain. Right.
For sure.
Like,
man.
so,
yeah.
But just thinking about that, like, I think when I noticed, because you're also taking measurements on your physicality, like you're growing. Oh, that set was a little bit easier this week. Let's put a little bit more. I'm pushing a little bit more weight. I'm moving a little bit faster. I'm jumping a little bit higher. All of those things. And so also, I'm feeling a little better in my recovery. My diet is clean enough that I can actually feel what eating nothing but a really heavy red meat meal over here versus just eating a nice clean green salad or something. They're gonna. Neither one might, they both have their uses, right? You might want a good heavy steak meal or something with low on starches and low carbs, and you can feel terrific from that. But it's still going to make you feel differently than just eating a salad, like, and just going through dieta whenever you're doing a ceremony. It's like when you prepare yourself for that, it makes the medicine work better.
Yeah.
And so I think I think that's also something exciting. Like right now, what Momed Canco CBD is doing for me, like, I feel it's a part of my daily regimen. I feel pretty good. I have, I typically have very little things to complain about health wise anyway. I don't, like, when you had that headache, I'm like, man, I wish I could.
I had no idea.
It's helped me with migraines before. I used to, there was a long time when I would when I would really just overwork myself, not just in the gym. I mean, like, some people have the 9 to 5. There were days where I would do like the 5 to 10.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's AM to PM for everyone there. And I would have days where I would do that back to back to back. I wouldn't have enough water. I wouldn't have enough nutrition. And by Sunday, I was redlining all my energy system so much that I would almost to the point where I could time the fact between like 9:15 and like 11:30 a.m. I was going to get a migraine that was going to put me down for 2 hours.
Oh,
I had it down to a science. So like I would wake up on a Sunday and just pop an Excedrin, and I would just wait. And then it got to a point where I'm like, or maybe I could fix the problem and stop working exactly. Stop running myself into the ground Monday through Saturday. And God forbid, take a day off.
Oh, there you go. Maybe rest is just as important, right? Like, that's when you're growing.
And this is one of my coaches put this best. The harder you train, the harder you need to recover. There are days where, like, if you hit a really heavy set and you hit a new personal best, I've had days where, like, my coach would tell me this, and I've also relayed this to my clients as well. Hey, coach, what do I do next? Okay, you go home.
Yeah,
done. And it's one of those things where if you're at a point where you've hit something where your nervous system is just taxed, okay, you don't need to do anymore.
Yeah.
So at that point, back off, go home, rest, eat food, sleep, drink more water than you did the day before.
Yeah.
And let your body chill.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's the thing, like, with when you start putting the mindset on the recovery and not the training, suddenly you start to clean up a lot of those root causes, like the gut health. That's a big thing that a lot of people are starting to catch on to now.
Yeah.
Dude, gut health, I mean, that controls your inflammation, that controls your mood, your anxiety, your depression. There's so many things that can be said about just cleaning that up.
Yeah.
You might even drop 10, 15 pounds of unwanted body fat just because now your body's processing what it needs to fast. Because
it's amazing.
Because you started doing what? You took a probiotic, or you started drinking kefir or kombucha or whatever. Something like that. That alone does miracles for the body.
I love it. Let's jump to break real quick. On the other side, I think, Seth, we got a little bit of Christmas talk.
We're gonna do a little bit more Christmas talk.
Oh, I'm
get
excited.
Get the listeners involved.
Well,
it's about to get.
Do we have anything over there on the Tower Classic Tattooing phone lines?
Anyone on the phone line? On the text line, you moron. We have.
That's what.
Same line.
Tom Rozier.
What's our
says
it's a government?
It says bartering system in DC.
Beautiful.
It's like an open market, like when he was in Morocco. Then he goes into a little bit personal story. Jenny G says, good times in the old Dodge Stratus. You're darn right, honey. Big old backseat. Missy B is still really excited about the hemp bill, even though it doesn't have some
I just told you all the
there.
reasons not to, honey.
I know.
All right?
She
You got
said,
my back or not? Are you my wife or not?
Well, she just said my baby.
I mean, not yet.
My baby's
might as well be.
My baby's so smart. She
Is that
also
what she
said
said?
that.
Okay.
And then we got people saying
everything I said.
they use cannabis for a little pre-workout.
I get it.
Yeah.
I
Like
get
I'm
it.
saying, like I know some people that will use that for a pre-workout. Some people use it to help them recover.
I like post-workout. I'm
all about the post.
Pre-workout, I'm not going to the gym.
Really?
I'll admit it. I'm like, maybe I'll
your
just work
shake
out
weight
here.
out.
Guys, keep texting in. 314-880-0808. That's the
Yeah.
Tower Classic Tattooing and Parlor STL phone lines. You can also hit us up on our Facebook Live or on our YouTube live stream at Mycelial Media. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Hey, it's your pal Stephen George Elgin. Many of you saw me get my bum tattooed on live video with our friends at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. What? Obviously, many people trust my opinion, so I'm going to talk to you about my top 3 reasons why I regularly visit Parlor STL, and Seth is going to translate it for all you punk rock skater kids. First of all, the cocktail menu is better than any you will find anywhere in the city.
Say word, son. They mix it up tight if you want to get that sip on.
The Nug Shack serves up some of the best farm fresh fried chicken you'll ever eat.
Cluckety cluck. They got that sicky fresh chicken for your face.
The place is packed full of old school arcade games, plus pinball and even skee ball.
They got games for days, son. Ask your mom about them.
That's Parlor, located at 4170 Manchester. Check them out at parlorstl.com. And speaking of tattoos, you got the itch to get inked? Visit Tower Classic Tattooing about 100 feet east of Parlor. View their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
I ain't got no job.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter, and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk, and for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
Listen, insurance is not something you want to gamble on.
Yeah, what my associate's trying to say is that James Carlton State Farm is really cool. You're not even going to believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along on the road with your family, and you're driving along, and patch of ice, can't quite stop, boom, you bump into the guy next to you. James Carlton's got somebody out there ready to take care of you 24/7. You call them at 314-961-4800. Now, here's what happens with the other guy's insurance. You're driving along, kids are in the backseat. Daddy, I got to go to the bathroom. Not now, damn it. Ice. You can't stop. Here comes the adjuster. Adjuster gets out. He says, oh, my God. New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies. To me, it just doesn't make much sense.
Guys, check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. Roof? You know what that sound is. That's Rufus the Roofing Dog from Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. They're former insurance adjusters. They will fly a drone over your house to check to see if you've had any hail damage. Heck, they'll get up there and tell you themselves. They have an office in Webster Groves, and they're looking to help you out. Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, 314-800-0426. Give them a call. Find them online at lifetimestl.com.
A little something different for the St. Louis radio world. Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin.
Michael Minkin from StopAbductions.com.
Because we believe that the aliens are actually invading and taking people with the purpose of taking control of our society. Aliens are mixing our DNA with their DNA to make a new race that is now integrating into our society.
Hoosier Sophisticate, Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU.
Stay tuned next for the Voice of Reason. Hi, I'm sales seminarist Robert Reason. Whether you're in sales or not, you will benefit. Join me every Saturday at 3 and Sunday at 5 right here on WGNU 920 AM or 106.9 FM.
What y'all doing in here?
Get out of here, Stevie. We're taking CBD, and you don't want no part of this.
You're taking some of that CBD?
Yeah, of course we are. Can't you see it?
No, I can't.
Come on, Stevie. Join the party.
No, Stevie, you don't want this. Get out of here.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want no hangover. I can't get no hangover.
It doesn't give you a hangover.
Well, I don't want. Will I get addicted to something?
It's not habit forming.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't want to OD on it.
You can't OD on it.
It's not going to make me want to have sex, is it?
It makes sex even better.
Sounds kind of expensive.
Oh, it's the cheapest drug there is. You don't want it, Stevie.
I think I kind of want it.
Okay, just this once. Come on in.
Guys, go to momedcanco.com and enter HOSO at the checkout and receive 15% off anything store-wide. Visit momedcanco.com.
There's an endless crop of new people who are interested in using these botanical materials for purposes of self-exploration.
Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Now sit back and learn something about yourself.
What is the psychedelic experience? I mean, it's a gratuitous grace. It is neither necessary for salvation nor sufficient for salvation, but it certainly makes it easier.
It is neither necessary for salvation nor sufficient. It certainly makes it easier. My man, Terrence McKenna, Seth, I just can't get enough of them rejoins.
I can't get enough of this cheese and sausage.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It is.
I like a cheese that has meat in it.
You ever just buy one of these cheese and meat plates just because?
I absolutely. Absolutely.
Right after the holidays, they're a little cheaper.
The most luck I had with I tried to try the low carb thing for a while a couple years ago. I lost like 20 pounds in a month. You can eat as much meat and cheese as you want.
Really?
Just keep the bread out, homie. I know. Get all that.
I love it.
Guys, this second hour is brought to you by Lifetime Roofing.
Roof?
Guys, check out lifetimestl.com. 314-800-0426. They are the best roofing outfit in the game, and they are constantly giving back to the community and looking for those that they can help out. Check out lifetimestl.com. They're located in Webster Groves. The dog runs the show over there, the perpetual employee of the month. I hung out with him. I hung out with him last weekend.
He's a good.
He said Steve's slacking a little bit.
I am. I'll admit it. I don't care.
He said that. Check out lifetimestl.com. They're awesome. Just Google it. You can Google it. Lifetime Roofing up. Google it.
That is actually top 10 iTunes rap songs.
Way to go.
Not bad.
Way to go. You're like,
I saw that.
You're almost like Migos.
Santa's Really Real is still topping the charts.
Santa's Really Real has 2 billion downloads.
Yeah, it's almost a 3.
Yeah.
It's almost a 3.
Seth, what do you got for us?
Well, we asked a question earlier today.
We did.
And we're going to ask it again. Actually, we have a few Christmas-related questions. We're just going to get nostalgic here, kind of like we did at the beginning of the hour.
Let's do it.
Hey,
we only
do
got
have
a little
some
bit
music?
of time. Let's have some fun.
Some music.
Oh,
Maybe a little Sinatra, maybe. That was suspiciously fast. I think it might have been ready already. Let's just breathe.
Favorite rap
for a second.
Go.
Sammy. No,
you're
Frank.
Sammy guy?
No, I'm Frank.
You're Frank? I'm a Dean guy.
I mean, I like Dean.
Frank's
Dean-
good
I'm
house
Dino.
cleaning music.
I am Dino.
Pour a drink and clean house.
I didn't know the
Place
fourth
with Frank.
guy. I didn't know his name.
I do.
Curly.
Hang on a minute. Joey Bishop. Boom.
No, good call.
Boom.
Good
Wasn't he
call.
a stand-up? He was
I
a
had dig
comedian,
deep in there.
right? He was a comedian.
Well, so was Dean. Dean was kind of a comedian too.
I'll tell you what. If you hop on
because
YouTube,
Jerry Lewis was funny.
my family actually had
That's why Dean was funny.
an extended member of
True.
my family actually played a big part in this. But if you hop on YouTube, there's a really cool video that was shot at the Fox Theater here in St. Louis.
Really?
Back in the 60s with the Rat Pack, and Johnny Carson was the MC. And it is magnificent. man.
What? How
Johnny
about-
Carson had chops, dude.
How about the roast too? The Dean Martin roast.
I
Those
could
were-
watch those all day. Don Rickles just slays.
He kills
He
everybody.
just slays.
And those
no
guys-
jokes are off limits.
They're having a
Good time.
Good
old time.
man.
Okay, let's talk about the worst present you ever got. Because I got the first one that came to mind for me was I forgot how old I was. I think a pre-teen, teen kind of thing going on. A big poofy vest, like like Marty McFly in Back
Okay.
to the Future. It
Little
just
down
wears the
vest.
whole time.
Yeah.
Like I was getting ready to jump ship, and I just wanted to look at my grandma and be like, "When have I ever worn a vest, anything like this? I'll just put this with the others."
That's a pre-vest you have on right now.
You like this?
It's a pre-vest. If you just cut those sleeves off.
That's true.
Yep.
Well, then I'm wearing I'm wearing pre-jorts.
That's true as well. In some roundabout way. I have a hard time with my I can't really think of a gift that I was just like, what?
Any clothes.
You're a
Yeah.
pretty grateful guy.
Well, yeah, but even like I said, I had a problem with getting a Sega 8-bit instead of a Nintendo. I don't know how grateful I was. Yeah, I mean, I would think that that aunt that gave you like and looking back on it, I'm like, how cool is that? Like this whole thing that we do now with like the ugly Christmas sweater parties and stuff. But did you ever have like the aunt that took the time to make you like a Christmas sweater with snowmen on it? I think
Thank
I got
God.
one of them, and I
Thank
was
God.
probably the look on my face was like, oh, when am I ever going to wear this? But now looking back on it, I'm like, man, she put a lot of her love and time and effort in that.
That's tough.
I think that's probably what it was. I think I got like a snowman ugly Christmas
Or she
sweater,
was poor.
and it was and I was just very ungrateful at the time. You have one?
I got plastic golf balls one year that I wasn't necessarily thrilled about.
What are you gonna do with those?
I took them to the backyard and I was playing like just out there with my dad, and he could tell I was like just visibly like just upset with him. And he's like, "No, you can do a lot with these," And I was playing a little bit of golf when I was younger. Like I don't know when Tiger came around, but my dad started playing like right around the time of Tiger, maybe a little bit before
96, 97.
Yeah, so then he got me into it, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like, oh, these stupid things, and I was walking, I stepped on one and broke it, and you would have thought I had stolen his car and wrecked it. Like his reaction, he's like, "You disrespectful.
You just don't
bozo."
care about anything.
And it stuck with me. I was like, yeah, that was probably one of the worst. Like, what were you trying to do? Flex? Like, oh, I don't care about this. Oh, stupid. These things crush. Dumb. And then my grandma, Nana, every kid got packs of cards. And so the aunts would say, oh, Steve's into hockey and baseball cards. Tommy is into football. Kyle's into hockey, whatever. Well, I remember my mom telling her, and I was there, and I told her too. I was like, anything but football, pretty much, because I even collected a few. Like I had an awesome Shaquille O'Neal basketball card, so I was like, okay, I'll do basketball too. Anything but football. I just wasn't into football at that point in my life. Didn't understand it.
You probably didn't have a team at the time. The Rams were no good.
No, yeah, I was too young for that. And sure enough, what do I open up on Christmas?
Football
just
cards.
Packs and packs of football cards.
No, she just
and my grandma looked at me in the eyes like,
You like it, don't you?
You don't want football cards? You got football cards.
Now
big
what?
guy. Yeah, that's the way she looked at me.
Now what?
My nana always kind of had a little, like, she was always like, you need to be knocked
Nobody
down
tells
a peg.
the DJ what to play.
Yeah, she
Nobody
was,
tells
she
the
was
DJ
very
what to
much
play.
like, listen, you're a Prince boy. Someone's got to tell you to
You
go
got
check
football
yourself.
cards. Guess what? There's kids across the
Yes,
other side of the world that would
yes.
like to have potable drinking
Yes,
water.
yes.
Okay, here's some football cards. Enjoy it.
Yep, and I was such a jackal. I was like, oh, I love these football
You
cards.
gave it right back?
I'll start collecting football cards now. Thank you, Grandma.
Oh, passive
Thank
aggressiveness
you.
at
Yes,
its finest.
yes.
What happened to him?
I threw them immediately in the trash.
Yeah, there's probably like two. It's like two Hall of
put 'em in the
Famers.
spokes.
I know.
I put them in the spokes of my bike.
Yeah,
That's what I was
forgot
gonna say. You
did.
got to use like at least two for the bike, right?
Well, I remember going to
Sure.
my mom and being like, hey, Grandma, she got me.
How come she doesn't love me?
And my mom's like, oh, no one messes with my baby. You know what I mean?
and
I'm
it
like,
became this whole
oh,
deal.
Jesus, Lord, what have I done?
Yeah.
Christmases were a little rough.
I think we all have a couple. We were talking about how all the family comes together and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the more people you invite into a small space that might have some demons that are buried a little bit, and the more hooch that's getting poured down the gullet, the
Little
better
nag.
chance that some of that stuff's gonna come to the surface a little bit.
And Sandra
I told
gets
you, I had an uncle one time. Chiefs Cowboys.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. I told this story to other
Chiefs
people.
Cowboys. Okay,
Go Chiefs.
it was. I want to say it was. I think it was Thanksgiving, right? But we're gonna go ahead and toss it in here because the Cowboys were playing, and I had an uncle, just a huge Chiefs fan. Actually, got me into the Chiefs because we didn't have a team at the time.
Yeah.
Christian Okoye, Derek Thomas, Neil Smith. I was
Thomas
a
was great.
big Chiefs fan, man. Until we
Joe
got the Rams.
Montana.
Yeah, oh, dude, and he was my favorite player. So when he went to the Chiefs, I was like the greatest. 93
That's
was like
huge.
the best year of my life.
Yeah,
Right?
that's huge.
Tony
So-
Gonzalez.
So the Chiefs are playing the Cowboys, and I have this other uncle who now that I'm older and can put things in perspective, I'm like, he liked to party.
He was
You know what I
gay?
mean? He liked to party.
Oh yeah.
He liked to party a little bit. He was giggling a lot.
He
was a giggler.
Gotcha.
Okay. And he was also kind of a ribber. You know, he just kind of always messing with people. But he was kind of a cowboy honk, but not like my other uncle was a Chiefs fan. And the Chiefs just did not show up to play this game. And the Cowboys weren't particularly good. And
Which was
man,
typical of the
my
Chiefs
one
in that
uncle
era.
is just, and now these are both like in-law uncles, like they're both married to aunts.
Okay.
So like they're not blood,
Yeah.
you know, and they're definitely two different classes. I don't know how to best put that.
Okay.
One's very blue collar,
Personality
one's
types,
very
yeah.
white collar. You know.
Yeah.
And so dude, Dallas is just roughing up the Chiefs, and he is giving it to him the whole way. And it should be noted that my uncle is a Chiefs fan. Great dude, one of the best. I have some great memories with him. Short little fuse, and I could just see the blood in his face just throughout the course of this game, just rising, and eventually he just loses it. Flips the coffee table and get your kids and get out of my house. And I'm like, man, happy Thanksgiving.
The kids are
Like,
playing with Legos.
yeah,
like what?
All the kids are like having a good time, and like we're like, what's going on? Like, it's like so, you know, holidays they can get a little crazy.
Oh yeah, no,
They can get a little crazy.
Aunt Sandra had a little too much nog one time, and her and my mom just came to blows over just something ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it
too.
happens.
Like,
It happens.
it's fun.
What else, Seth?
All right, what do you want to do next? Most obnoxious Christmas song? 'Cause
Oh,
they're like you walk
Oh
into a
my
department
God.
store.
what is okay? How about the Christmas song that just really just grinds your gears? What is it?
That stupid one, Grandma got ran over by a reindeer or something.
Oh yeah,
Grandma
got run
over
by a
reindeer.
Thanks.
Coming home from my house Christmas Eve.
You guys know the actual
You don't know
words?
that I believe in Santa.
You sing it well.
As for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. And it's at the tip of my tongue right now. I'm trying. It's like the one where it's so stupid. It's like they're almost talking through it. Do you have one? Let me see if I can think of it real
I
quick.
do. I cannot. All I Want for Christmas Is You is
that's
just
bad.
a really hard song to take, and I feel like it is just everywhere throughout the holiday season. And there is just a huge amount of great Christmas songs out there. I played one for the family the other night coming home from Trev's Christmas play, which was hilarious in and of itself.
That was so great, the footage of that.
I shot a little video. I took a lot of joy in this one kid that was doing everything he could to just hold it all together. He was very emotional in the spotlight. But the kid next to him, he had the crazy legs. That kid was dancing the whole time. And Seth, I know you looked up the definition, but the juxtaposition of these two next to each other. This one kid was having the time of his life, and the other one,
I don't remember it,
would rather be anywhere in the world than standing on that stage in front of people. It was really pretty funny. But I got a couple of Christmas songs that you don't necessarily hear on the radio all that often that are my go-tos during the holiday season. And while you're still looking for the one you don't like, you guys ever heard Merry Christmas from the Family? It's a Robert Earl Keen song. Montgomery Gentry does it. If you haven't, check out Merry Christmas from the Family. It's just it's a Hoosier Christmas. It is really a Hoosier Christmas.
Let's turn Frank up just a little bit. This is good, right?
It's the holiday season, and Santa's here.
Oh,
and it's cheer, and all we do all over the year we're coming down now. I'm coming down the chimney now.
Yeah,
that is the worst song, period, in the history of songs. And I also
have you heard Christmas Shoes?
I heard it this morning. It's god awful.
Listen, once a year, that song gets one play a year. It gets 3 minutes of streaming tears, and that is it. You lock it up until next year. That's all I'm giving that song. It's the saddest song maybe ever written. You're buying shoes for your dying mother, and you're like, you don't even have a concept of money, child. You have $3 in your pocket, and now you're going to put the person behind you through your emotional garbage. It's a lot to handle. It's a lot to handle.
Said I'm gonna buy these shoes
for my mama.
Hey, dude, that doesn't rhyme at all.
Shoes for $3.
Yeah, your mom maybe.
Okay,
get a job, kid.
I don't like the Paul McCartney one either.
It's really hard for me to say that, but yeah, I know what you're.
How does it go? The Paul McCartney Christmas song.
While you're thinking, I do want to say like some of the Christian songs. I don't care Christian or not. What Child Is This is one of the most beautifully crafted compositions ever.
Some of the
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
I got one of those. Like it kind of listen. It doesn't make me mad, but it's it's kind of the same thing as All I Want for Christmas Is You. They're just played around the clock, and it's like, man, there's so much to choose from. Why do you keep going to this one?
Christmas in Hollis, Run DMC.
You don't like it?
I love it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. What's your favorite ones?
Definitely, Please Come Home for Christmas. We talked about that before.
Blue Christmas by Elvis is a really cool.
Blue Christmas. Yeah, no, that's a good one.
You may want this last cheese ball on a stick.
Merry Christmas from the Family. I'll eat that. Merry Christmas from the Family is one of my favorites. Honestly, if you get a really good version of Oh Holy Night.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh Holy Night is. I'll tell you
chills.
what. If anybody wants to join, I think I'm gonna do this too. For the first time, I had a pull. I'm gonna go to midnight mass on Christmas Eve. Maybe for nostalgia for a couple of. I'm gonna go down to the cathedral, and I'm.
Will you
hoping that they
Facebook
have
Live it?
I hope. I don't know.
Like you watch the church on Sunday mornings on Channel 24.
But if you get a great choir in a cathedral or something like that, where the acoustics, where the sounds just bounce around, and you get a great Oh Holy Night. Man, that song moves me.
To your knees.
Yes.
Okay, settle down over there.
Carol of the Bells is a cool one for instrumental.
Voices all night.
This is why people tune in.
Dude, if we do go caroling tomorrow night, I think we're gonna kill it.
Oh, we are. We always
should rehearse all day and each have parts.
Dude, we always kill somebody whenever we go caroling. You know the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Emmanuel.
Good one.
That's a friggin'.
Now, did you post that video?
Oh,
of the,
wow,
did you see this?
Yes.
The gal singing in the cathedral.
Oh,
no. I thought you were talking about
it's just this one chick singing solo. She's in this old cathedral.
It gives 6 echoes. It's built so it gives like 6 to 8 echoes.
Yeah, it's the resonance in that building.
And
unbelievable.
She's singing a cappella, O Come, Emmanuel.
Terrific.
Emmanuel in Space. You guys remember that show?
Yeah, you were talking about Christian. So I mean, that was my whole foundation of, well, first off, Christmas is a Christian holiday, but my whole foundation of Christmas music is all based on what we sang in church, right?
Oh,
and there were some that elevate you. Oh, Holy Night being one of them. When you're singing that at the top of your lungs, you're like, this vibration
I was
lifting me up into the heavens. This is incredible. Like so much of my connection to music is obviously the way that it makes you feel. And I don't know that, it's very seldom does music make me feel like it used to as a kid singing in choir practice or whatever, like just singing where else could you just sing unabashedly, just as loud as you could, and like that was cathartic.
You didn't get ripped on if you sang at
all
church?
the time, didn't care.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't care.
I totally got ripped on, dude.
All the time. Like, you got a problem with me singing? I'll meet you on the soccer course and
yeah,
the soccer field, and I'll beat you at that too. Like,
I'll meet you on the soccer course.
I'll meet you on the basketball gridiron, sir.
The sports ball field.
The sports ball field.
I will.
The only reason I say course is because we played on a blacktop.
Yeah, I know.
On a blacktop in South City. Like we weren't on a field. It was not a field. It was a cage.
A black soccer ball from so many
from
black
the hood, baby.
Stuff.
It was a cage.
It would be a new soccer ball, and it would be white. And by the end of the year, it would be black. From all of the scrapes on it. Happy Christmas, John Lennon. That song was Exaltation. Oh,
it's that time, man.
It's already.
I know I could do this for hours.
We're up against.
If you get a hankering,
a 6-day break.
You're up against a 6-day break. If you get a hankering to come singing with us, it's the holiday season.
Or give us
make people
money.
feel good. I think. Hey, tomorrow, talk about doing something great with our kids.
Yeah,
we're taking our kids down to the soup kitchen. Just show them a little bit of
soup.
what it is to give something back. A little perspective. Put the holidays in perspective. How great is your life?
How is the soup?
Give it back. Give it back. And what a great lesson to give kids at an early age. We're going to meet up with a couple of Hoosiers down there. I think Heather Housen's going to be down there. Our families are going to be down there.
Great people.
Going to help out some people, just hand out some food and tell people Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and just share some love.
Share a little love.
Share
I want to share a little love with one of our listeners too. Libby shared some awesome part of herself today with a lot of us.
How vulnerable she was willing.
We
to be
love
with
you,
us.
Libby.
I would never be able to post that in a million years.
Oh,
I wouldn't.
She laid it out there, man.
Yeah.
She just let.
I was proud of her.
Me
afterwards.
too, man. Like we need to get that stuff
I was
off our
choked
chest.
up reading it, and
It was
I'm like,
tough.
and that's the whole deal, man. Perspective is crazy. What people have gone through, and to see how great they are now in spite of it.
Yes, because you would never think
it's so
I'm the worst
inspiring.
person ever. My parents showered me with love, and she had some issues where that it's like the story in the Gremlins.
Yeah.
Like that to me as a kid, I was like, and I think about my worst thing was I got plastic golf ball for my
right.
It puts it in perspective for us. So Libby, we love you. Shout out to you.
We do love you. And I'll tell you what,
I don't
guys,
mind the vest.
Couple of shameless plugs. Listen, there's still tickets for sale for the Hoosier Hootenanny New Year's Eve party down at the Spanish Society. Jump on HoosierSophisticate.com. Visit the merch store. You can buy your tickets there. It's $45 in advance. It's $60 at the door. It covers all your food and drink.
It's going to be
karaoke.
a
We're going to
blast.
throw bags. We're going to have a little chuck of luck.
Chuck
And
of luck.
we're partying with a purpose. We're going to give some money back to a family that desperately needs it. And I can't wait to share that after we do it. They listen to this show. They don't know it's coming. It's coming, baby. It's coming. Oh, Papa Christmas. Papa. Papa, come here. Also, guys, get your tickets for From Shock
We
to
need
Awe.
your help. We need to
January
we need to get 'em
14th.
sold.
We got to get these tickets sold. January 14th.
We need
Guys,
you.
We got about
We need
70
you,
to go.
Hoosiers.
$13 a piece. We're trying to get as many veterans and first responders there, people that are dealing with depression, addiction. This will benefit anybody that is at the Tivoli that night. You have to go. This is a one-night only event. Hoosier Sophisticate is bringing to the Tivoli Theater down on the Loop. Come check it out.
This is big for St. Louis.
We want to thank our sponsors one last time. Missouri Medical Cannabis Company. Check out momedcanco.com. Enter HOSO at checkout. Enter HO-HO-HO at checkout, depending on what you're trying to do. HOSO will get you 15% off site-wide. Otherwise, if you buy 3 bottles of anything, you're going to get another 2 free with the code HO-HO-HO. We want to thank our first hour sponsor, James Carlton State Farm, our second hour sponsor, Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, and our phone and text line sponsors, Parlor STL and Tower Classic Tattooing.
We love you guys.
We hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We can't wait to see you next week, and we will catch you on the Flippy Dippy. Merry Christmas, one love, be well, Hoosiers.
I will not wear around you. And they'll be quick to point out our shortcomings and how the experts all have had their doubts.
You're listening to WGNU St. Louis.